Hello and welcome to Holding Action, the show where the chaos and combat is controlled by the rules of Dungeons and Dragons. We are set to get into some shiz and have some fun and do the normal thing that we do, which is
normal things,
shenanigans and tomfoolery and
hanging and banging,
those kinds of things. Hey, we want to give a shout out to the DP, Old Dice Priory out there, hanging and banging with us. Thank you for the raid. Looks like we got our un favorito, Warp Skits is in the house.
All right, yes.
And we're going to welcome Encounter Roleplay. Thank you guys for sharing us with your viewers.
I don't know if I should do the...
Wait, Encounter Roleplay?
Yes, they're rating us with their party of almost 20 folks as well.
Holy snapsies. Also, KJ with the sub.
Oh, and KJ with the sub. You stealth subbed before the show started like a sneaky muchacho. But thank you so much for that. We are going to get right into the tomfoolery and shenanigans. And
we don't do that. That's all we do.
I think it's shenanigans.
That's all we do. That's all we do.
Jones, would you please tell the people about our upcoming schedule, sir?
Yeah, dudes. Okay, schedule never changes. Okay? You B-words have no excuse to not stop in because we do stuff every Wednesday, right? Some sort of video game is played.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't create a schedule because shit changes. Okay, it might be Sekiro, might be Dora the Explorer on Nintendo Wii.
You don't even
literally never changes.
Yeah, but the day never changes, Michael. Okay, and then on Fridays,
days change it every day.
Yeah, every day. Like sometimes it's Wednesday, sometimes it's Sunday.
Shut up! Okay, every Friday. Okay, we're here sitting at these tables with our invisible dunce caps on, playing Dungeons and Dragons. Okay, just being some dumbs for you guys. Okay, Dungeons and Dragons at 7 p.m. Okay, Central Standard Time because we're in the Midwest, like some dumbs with some snow and crap. Okay, and then on Sundays, I start playing Dark Souls 2 starting this Sunday. Okay, back to you. Schedule completed.
You did such a good job. Thank you so much for that. That is wonderful. Kira, would you please inform the wonderful, awesome, and talented, excellent, handsome, and beautiful, skilled, fun, excellent people about our wonderful partnership?
Well, I was going to tell you keep going because Mike's holding this.
Are we going to do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so dice makers, they make custom D6s just for your D&D character or just for like whatever. Like
for a wedding?
Yeah, you get them for your wedding, get them for your play, get them for your Christmas. Christmas is coming up. Mm-hmm. Like we're Caribou has got the Christmas cups already, so like get your D&D group,
or holiday
D6s.
Your Merry Coffees.
Yeah.
Yeah, do that.
And then throw your other dice in the trash, okay? Dice makers, trademark.
There's trash is everywhere.
Right.
Everywhere you go.
Wherever you find a trash, throw it away. Yeah. Also, I feel like people are just making tags to try and embarrass my pronunciation. But thank you so much for joining the Action Junkie.
Yes!
Hopefully we see you around here consistently because you're a cool person, obviously. Mm-hmm. That's pretty much all it is. Yeah. And last thing before we get poppin' crackin', Ms. Jacky, would you please tell the other folks the other stuff that is... Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
We have merch now. Merch!
Yes!
Merch like our DM's hat. What? It's quite stylish. There's also t-shirts.
Does it come with a sticker?
Yes.
Okay.
It does.
That's a selling point.
Because it's a snapback.
Yeah, it's... You nailed it.
You can peel the sticker off.
And we're going to be continuing to grow this merch store as time continues.
Yes, do check out our partners, Dice Makers, panel down below in the info section.
Throw that in the garbage.
Pick you up some merch, increase your AC, get a wisdom buff, boom. Panel also down in the tabs. And then the very, very last thing, real quick before we get started, as you know, we don't grow without y'all. It's a beautiful and wonderful thing, and every chance that we get, we want to make sure that we savor the flavor and we show how much we appreciate y'all's support. And as per usual, we want to make sure that the people who are supporting us, we're doing what we can to support them. So the small business owners that live among us, those who find themselves in the Action Junkie fold, we want to make sure that their businesses are a success as well. And this week, we're going to be making sure that everybody is well aware of one of our longtime favorite supporters, and to make sure that their business is a continuing success, I'm going to kick it over to Jones.
Yeah, that's right. So, this week's small business that we're going to do a super action junkie shout out to is KJ's Designer Business Pants, California Raisins Animatronic Band, and Canadian Tire Map of the Stars at the VFW on Tuesdays in the back corner by the pull tabs on West Highway 6 and Old Town Road in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Okay, stop in on Tuesdays and get an 11% discount on dungaree or Lady Gap branded job pants, and get a ticket in this week's Is It Beef or Beans meat raffle and fish fry. Okay, visit KJ's Designer Business Pants, California Raisins Animatronic Band, and Canadian Tire Map of the Stars of the VFW on Tuesdays next to the Hair Hut and a mile from the Renaissance Festival. Thanks, KJ.
Thank you, KJ.
Jones.
Hey, you guys get down there and get you some business pants.
Heck yeah.
Wait, I'm going for the California Raisin Animatronics.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
but they also are wearing the business pants.
It's just
Wait, the California
every week.
Raisin are wearing the
every week our community comes up with just the most inventive business plans I have ever heard of. And
Yeah,
I'm
I mean, you
so
guys got
glad.
some bomb-ass businesses. I'd rather do that than be like, hey, go to the
Yeah.
other hut.
Yeah, why be part of like the Gap machine when you can literally just have Lady Gap pants but also business pants?
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Seems
it's
like
one
an
and the same.
easy solution.
Okay, I don't know. KJ's probably also got like Husky Boy overalls too. I don't know.
Exactly.
Just with
So,
one.
For
Yeah.
everybody who is supporting us, thank you so much. Go make sure you check out KJ by the pull tab section of the VFW in where? What is
Denham Springs.
Denham
Yeah.
Springs,
Only on Tuesdays.
Louisiana.
At the VFW.
Okay. And if
Back
you want
corner.
us to advertise your small business, you know what? If you have a big business, that's totally fine too. We'll absolutely make sure we give you a shout out on stream. Every single stream, the cheerleader has a chance to make sure that we are pushing their initiatives as well. So
Yeah, I think Sildari's sugar glider stall is
really taking off now, huh?
the business has seen an
And the
uptick.
Croc Disney Pin Emporium, or
Yeah, the Disney Pixar Croc pin accessories.
seems like a thing. Hey, thank you all so much for being here. And I think with nothing else to do,
Back to you, Deej.
this is action.
Campaign.
Because it didn't have mage's hit points.
Thank you all so much for hanging with
I didn't
us.
know any better.
And let us dive right back in, picking up from where we left off last episode on Holding Action. The party, or loose collection of individuals having assembled in the capital of Kirin Sol, in the major military presence of Torgos, were caught up in an unfortunate circumstance that resulted in an explosion of a very vital, if not seedy, tavern landmark in the city square. Being caught red-handed, so to speak, the group was mixed up in the true assailants, brought to the steel dungeon, and held there for the explosion that took place in the city. With the captain of the guard and some quick detective work, as well as some additional explosions taking place around the city, they were quickly identified as not being part of the incident that had occurred. However, due to their new presence in the city and their overall shifty nature at that point, they were tasked with retrieving some missing medicine from the small town of Styrewood to potentially earn their way into staying in Torgos. The group reluctantly or apathetically accepted the said task and began pushing north up the King's Road to the small village of Torgos.
Nope.
Village of Styrewood.
There you go.
You
Nailed it.
You should do these because you're definitely
Yeah.
more with it here. The group finally arrived to find a circle of steel caravan cart, damaged, broken, but largely intact, with a great deal of medicine, it seems, concealed within its drawers and rafters. However, parked just outside of town, they were a little curious and concerned as to why there was no villagers present. After exploring the city a bit, it seems as if goblins had moved in and taken over some of the surrounding empty structures now, And after determining that they were perhaps not the cause for the missing citizens, the group followed the clues that were in front of them and pushed north into the wood and out of Styrewood to explore where these missing villagers could have gone. After a brief showdown with some of the vegetation, we'll say, Marith and Echo found themselves poisoned, leaving them beleaguered and struggling to move, see, or perform as they normally would. However, in their moment of need, an individual happened upon them and offered them safety, guidance, and a lead way through the rest of the forest, perhaps to push them towards the information they sought. However, after they entered this individual's cave, it was in fact revealed that this individual was not so much an individual.
A seedy character.
Oh.
Take psychic damage.
Yeah, you don't have a lot of hit points to spare. So. All right, okay. Damn it.
All right. The wizard's already super nervous.
Yep. Any attempt to make it serious building was seedy.
Defense mechanisms.
The party moved in to discover that this ranger-esque individual sat upon a planted pod and was actually almost being controlled in a puppet-like fashion by vines and vegetation moving through the earth in a concealed fashion, similar to the true culprits behind the explosion that took place in the city of Torgos that set them on their journey. Now, as you stand in front of this large, now revealed to be wooded, almost tree-like creature, vegetation falling off of it in a various myriad of different angles and jutting out from its form, Kavini and El stand relatively close in front of its form, as it says it needs a new shell for the first seed. Marith finds himself aggressively rushing towards the cavernous underground river to try and wipe the poison from his form at the advice of our seedy tree friend. And Echo, still succumbing to the various effects of this poison, stands cautiously further behind, waiting for a move to be made. So, nameless party. What happens next?
Yeah, I'm just running to the water.
Okay.
I'm watching him run to the water to see if it seems to help.
Okay. Kavini, with you being directly in front of the creature, what is it you would like to do? You see this form expand and begin to grow, and all of a sudden the rushing noises of the cavern kind of begin to swirl around you as these almost branch-like claws extend out. A new shell must be found.
I'll kind of look back. I don't even know where they are. Okay. We can find you a shell.
What would you like to do?
I could make you one. Can I make you a shell?
You will do fine.
Does it have to be living? Does it have to be a living thing?
Do you want to do anything?
Yeah, my action is to see if the water helps him or if I'm going to just stay half speed, disadvantage poison.
Okay. Then I'm going to ask Kavini and L only. Would you like to roll initiative?
Ooh, would you like to?
I'm trying to not be in battle
Mike is
with
like,
this.
nope. How about a nope on my end?
Not if we don't have to.
Neither of you are rolling initiative.
How many feet away from this am I?
No, because I would wait. I wouldn't react until he attacks me.
Okay.
Correct.
And you are going to be about 30 or so feet from it.
Okay.
Can I still be on my guard by not rolling?
It's presumable you probably would be.
All right, cool.
And yeah, he
Just making sure.
When
exploded
I
out
look
of
back,
a humanoid
how
body.
far are they away?
They're probably maybe 40 or so feet. Echo being about 10 feet in front of them.
I'm like, the water area is like in a kind of a different nook of a...
It runs through, it runs alongside sort of the cavernous deposit that it went down into.
Okay, so it's not like a separate area?
No.
Okay.
Nope. All right. So.
You guys didn't ask him if he would like to roll initiative.
Nope.
I figured he already had his choice made.
So, as you are standing there, the ground kind of begins to rumble gently. At this point, your feet begin to tremble. You'd be at least made aware that something different and unique is taking place. The rumbling begins to turn into a full-on roil, and that is when Kavini and El, unawares to you, see vines burst out of the ground, thrusting themselves into your chest, striking both of you. Kavini, you'll take 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Didn't even need to make an attack?
It did.
And it overcame.
You chose not to enter combat, and it did before you did. This is a surprise round on its part. You'll take 5 points of bludgeoning damage.
I guess because it didn't say if it hit or not. It was a little...
Well, I have a reactionary spell, but alright.
What's your reactionary spell?
Shield.
And that's +2, correct?
+5.
+5.
Oh, snap!
Okay, my shield's not +5.
I'm going to say because you were on guard, we will let you use shield if you'd like to do that.
16 AC.
16?
Mm-hmm.
That will get it done, actually. So that is a successful block. You still take 5 points of bludgeoning damage, though.
Okay,
I
I'm
can't
still
take 5
wearing
points of damage.
AC is 14.
You rolled an 18 against you.
Damn it!
So, now,
5?
5 points of bludgeoning damage, yes.
I'm already down. 7.
You would have heard a loud thud and a crack as you kind of were able to just turn and see this arcane burst deflecting this massive vine that almost splintered through it and turned into almost this mulch as it struck through, seemingly avoiding dealing direct damage to Kavini, as El kind of recoils from a massive blast, a thunderous punch from a vine into her chest. Now, everyone roll initiative.
Okay.
No, that didn't even go in there.
Okay, you tree bastard.
Where'd that dice just go?
I missed my previous rolls as a level 20 roll with special boots that gave me advantage.
And like +10.
5. Yeah. But then I had 5 of my dex, so it was a +10. I got 8.
Oof.
That's rough for you.
Yes. Thank you for your empathy. I appreciate
We're
it.
not quite a group yet.
All right. Echo, what do you have for initiative?
16.
All right. Meredith.
6er.
I'm not
Nice.
good.
What's up, Kaveen?
17.
Ooh, the wizard just out here. Block. Whatever the wizards do
Yeah,
now.
I don't know if that was like a sloop.
Yeah, it was
Like
more,
a sloop.
definitely more of a schloop. And then L.
8.
Well done. I mean, that's a thing, though. All right, let me just get the initiative order plugged up.
I mean, like, this might not be a lich, but we are in its lair, so, like...
It's probably not
I'm already
great.
down. L is
You're
down,
already down.
down half
Mm.
her health. I should have redirected that to Tippet. Dang it.
Oop. Oh, no, that is correct, actually. That's right, I forgot. L rolled an 8.
Yeah.
Meredith is just back there poisoned.
Yeah. You know, I'm at the water, okay? Wait.
Did both of you roll at disadvantage?
No, I was just going to ask.
Oh, no, I
Yeah.
forgot.
I mean, I don't know if I get...
Initiative is technically a skill check.
Yeah.
That's what's fine.
No.
Yup.
Oh, you got...
Yeah, but that's what he's in the chat.
Okay, it doesn't really work, but it gives us...
I mean, you don't get the 20, but, like, why
Yeah.
not? Yeah,
Yeah.
put some,
Yeah,
put some
it in
20s
the-
up in there.
What if one of them's tragic?
All right, so what you got?
Still 6 for me.
Okay, sure.
So
So,
16.
oh. Oh.
Yeah, put your
Well.
thumbs in the chat.
I mean, we don't necessarily have to go super big boy, but
Oh, handsome.
Okay, you put out this gross guy, Deej.
I mean, he's not that gross.
We're level 2, okay? You can't have us fighting big gross guys yet.
They're not that gross. I mean, they're kind of
painted him.
gross.
He's not gross.
Oh!
He's very stylish.
I do. Well, thanks, Sally. I forgot I still had Sally's luck from last time.
Oh yeah, okay. That's through the end of this stream.
Yeah.
Yes.
So keep that in mind.
All
right.
I still have luck too.
Oh, and it looks like we have our normal in-house mod is not in-house, so it's going to be a little bit more disjointed than it would normally be. But we'll call it the pairing of Elle and Tidbit find themselves with a luck as well from Sally.
All right.
Hooking it up. All right.
Yes.
So
Thank you, Sally.
we're going to start with the first seed.
No! I didn't
And
want
immediately-
it to go first.
It is going to charge directly at Kavini.
No.
What is your AC?
It's low. Okay.
11.
Well, actually, hold on. Start of your next turn, 16.
Yeah, he gets to keep his shield.
To the start of my next turn.
That's a yeet.
That spell is trash. All right.
Yeah, I think
So
kids
you
say
see this hulking sort of tree-like figure push forward and smash these massive branches together, forming this huge sort of cudgel as the branches wrap around both of its fists, launching into a slam attack, only to bounce off with a massive and kind of thunderous as this shield seems to flare around Kavini's form yet again.
Nice.
All right. And then,
Hell yes. No.
yeah.
No.
You then see a branch pop out of the ground
Gross.
directly by Echo. What is your AC?
Big oof.
I believe a 17 hits almost everything.
Yeah, that would have hit level 20 Spriggan, so like...
I mean, a lot of shit hit level 2
Yeah.
So you see then Echo pulled close to this vine, reaching up out of the ground, snatching you and pulling you towards its point of origin. All the while, you're going to be taking 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Kavini, it is now your turn, sir.
All right. Where they went, that was not towards the exit, correct? Would that be like exit stage that way?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
They would the underwater cavernous river is off map essentially.
Okay. No interest in being a shell, so I'm going to turn around and run, and I will echo. And as I'm running, I will go for my book. Do I?
It is going to take a swipe at
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Okay.
Do I see that she's wrapped up?
Yeah, she's tethered and being pulled.
Okay, and then I'll flip through my book and say something in Draconic and blow a firebolt into the tentacle up from the ground there.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, roll damage for me.
Or to hit. To hit.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
It's an 8.
An 8 does not hit.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the quick and hurried sort of rushing of Kavini, flipping through the book as he
Plus
runs
5.
by, kind of just throws it errantly as he's just out of range, seemingly missing the vine that is detaining you at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah, checks out.
However, after Kavini's near miss, ooh, no. Oh. An 11, does that hit?
Yes.
An
Well,
11 hits you?
That's your AC, isn't
That's
it?
my AC.
Oh my gosh, you guys are just the smallest boys.
Level 2, dude.
2 points of bludgeoning damage,
Oof.
as it seems as if one of the branches kind of just gives you a thwack as you run away. Not a thwip, but a thwack.
It's like 15%.
You've been
health.
thwacked.
You win.
All right, Echo.
Yeah.
After Kavini's failure, you are given an opportunity to control your own destiny. What would you like to do?
Sounds intense.
God, whoa, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's all on you, okay?
You said I'm 30 feet away from, dude?
Yeah, maybe just shy, a little under, maybe.
Okay, well, that works. I would like him to make a charisma saving throw. Captain Bane on him.
Sure. Ooh.
No, I don't like that sound.
15?
Level 2, Deej.
Yeah, I'm glad
And I'm not going to turn none of y'all's DCs into 25 this campaign either, so y'all are in trouble.
Okay, that's a prick though, okay?
Just saying. Bonus action? Movement. Oh, no, you are restrained.
Yeah, so no, I got nothing then.
Sucks to suck. All right, that brings us to L. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna take out my axe.
Okay. Yep.
And then I'm gonna be like, oh, I really don't want to have to destroy you. Can you just decide not to go this way and we'll help you find a body that's not us?
It's like Hera 2.0.
Yeah.
Going on right here, exactly.
And then, ka-thunk, dead in one shot.
Okay.
No, I don't have that ability. That's my stuff.
Would you like to make a bonus action?
No, because I'm wearing tidbit, and that's the only bonus action I have.
Okay.
Right.
Marith, you are just clearing your face, the poison kind of allowing you to see a little bit better. It seems as if its effects remain in place, though. Bastard. Yeah.
Okay.
He might have lied to you, just a tiny little bit.
What a fart. Yeah, I'm going to emit a skeletal hand from my hand and push it towards the big creature, and will hit him with a chill touch.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I would like to touch his soul.
Go ahead and roll your ranged spell attack for me. Trying to touch me with your bone.
That's
hand.
gonna hit.
Yeah, 21.
Ooh, just hits.
Yes! It hits!
Just
Do it!
Something
just barely.
That's the first time I've hit anything as Meredith. What's up?
Just barely got there, but you know what? It works. Glad
That
it
works too.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
4 points of necrotic damage.
4 points necrotic damage. Alright. Okay. Bonus action for you, sir?
Yeah, I'm gonna say out loud to everybody, the water didn't help. Not at all. That's it.
Okay.
Actually, then I'll use my movement to stand in front of Kavini
Okay. Sure.
with my shield out. Like, in between him and the big creature, because I see the vines got... Yeah,
Got
I essentially
me.
want to be an imposing figure in front of Kavini.
As imposing as you can be to a tree creature.
But
Yes.
if he's going to do some shit at Kavini, he's got to go through me and my shield.
Ooh.
Made aware. All right. He's not going to do anything with Kavini immediately because he sees L directly in front of it, and it is going to pounce down, going for a slam attack on L. Oh, that's a 17, which I'm pretty sure hits. That is going to be 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay, well, I have to put half of that to tidbit, so that's 3 to tidbit.
You can divvy it up however you'd like.
Okay, that's 4 to tidbit. Yeah, that is. All right.
Okay.
And then that's minus 3 for me, so I'm at 4 health. Yeah. And I'm gonna go, ow.
Ow. And the tree creature is going to loom directly over L's form for the time being. Kavini, it brings us back to you.
Okay, getting a little bit more centered. Echo, it's time to go.
Well, he's just going to throw him dollars?
Yeah.
So, and Firebolt comes out of the book again.
All right, go ahead, roll it.
You're throwing coins at the creature to buy its own body.
Natural 1.
All right!
Wait, can people
Did you
put their
have a
ones in the chat yet?
Nope.
No.
I think I had one from
Nah,
last
not
session,
yours.
but I don't know.
Yeah.
You didn't write it down anywhere?
No, I did, but I
You
guess
threw away your
I
copy?
switched notes and stuff.
I thought I
For
wrote
what?
mine down, but I didn't.
Sally gave me
definitely
one, I
did.
think, but I can't remember if I used it or not.
Yes. I don't think that you did.
I don't think I did either.
I got 2,
Yeah.
and I used one of them.
Yeah, well, yeah. You should have one. You should have one, and Elle should have.
Then I'm definitely going to use it. Okay, that definitely hits 23.
Yes.
It does hit. Yes.
Whoosh.
I have luck too.
You
First
do?
time.
Okay.
We all got one, and then Meredith and I both had the option of using it when we got poisoned.
I'm just gonna 100% trust you not to cheat, and it's up to chat and everybody who's paying very close attention to make sure that they're not cheating. Right?
5 fire damage.
5 fire
Oh
damage.
yeah, burn his tree booty up. Okay. Give
Is
some of them
she
sinew
released?
roots.
Oh, you're shooting the vine?
Yeah, I shut the vine.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, so as you see now, the pinpoint accuracy of Kavini dialed in a more safe and secure location. A ripping bolt shoots from his form. The large sort of orange globular mote of fire cuts directly through the vine, and it shatters in a massive eruption of flame.
Nice. Hell yeah.
And
All right.
I don't have the. All right, so we're just gonna do it like this.
No, that's gonna like hit something like that.
Okay, thank you so much for those bits.
Thank you for the minute.
All right. That hit me in the phone.
Both of them did.
All right, so Echo is now freed from
Nice.
the grasping vine. Go ahead and take your.
Nope, I'm still. That's just my action.
Oh, I already pulled it back. Okay. Yes. Your bonus action and movement.
And then I'll look at Echo and audibly say it so Meredith and Elle can hear. It's time to go, and then I'll start booking for the exit.
Okay.
Shit.
All right. So if Kavini is hoofing it as fast as his little legs will carry him there,
Fucking nope.
Kavini is headed to the door. All right. So Echo, time to go. And you immediately see Kavini running off with nary a tap of the cane on his way out. What would you like to do with your turn?
Kavini! I'm gonna cast sleep on the creature.
All right. That's a
Nothing. I just gotta roll sleep.
D8s, correct?
Yeah.
4 of them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll all of the D8s.
All 8s.
Yeah.
Use your luck.
And sleep doctor.
Yeah.
Spin doctor, sleep doctor? All right. Yeah, you gotta tell me what you got.
15.
15. It seems as if as the magic begins to wrap itself around the
Oh, it's
creature,
5 d8s.
the
Stand by.
31.
22.
still falls off of his form, the sort of purple and pinkish hues dripping off into like an arcane goo that dissipate and wash away into nothingness around it, seemingly unaffected. Bonus action?
Fuck! Alright. L's right up there.
Yeah, you're in a echo chamber of death here.
Echo's echo chamber.
Let's see. Mind state.
L! Kick his ass! I'm gonna bardically inspire her.
Okay. And then I run.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Are you
Good
running
thing.
or are you staying there?
Huh? No,
You got this!
no, I yelled at Kavini. I'm gonna back up 5 feet.
Back up 5 feet.
Yeah.
All right. You back up 5 feet.
That's my way of following Kavini, but not following Kavini.
Sure. Lead by
Checks out.
Being
some
completely impartial.
example. Okay. L, you've just been inspired. Echo letting out a thunderous cheer. Kick his ass, 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 ass. Now, stirring through your form, you are inspired. What would you like to do?
I would like to use my action to disengage and run away.
Okay, you can do that, yes. So, as you see
Smart girl.
L stand up, holding the axe. Echo's words kind of stirring in her head. Immediately turns and runs, tidbits, sort of bolts and framing, flapping off, knocking away some of the branches that lash out as she begins to turn and begins moving away full speed.
I'll step close to her, so I'm like right next to her.
Okay.
And then I guess I'll just be like, I think we should just go.
Okay. So, that is Elle's turn. Marith, what would you like to do, Mr. Shield Guy?
I mean, I don't even move as fast as I'm in present
Right?
state.
Me neither, don't worry.
I'm not gonna leave you that behind.
Yes, you are poisoned.
Yeah, right.
You are at half speed as a result.
I'll move as far as I can towards the door,
Okay.
keeping Kavini in my sight.
Okay.
And I will do another. Well, let me see. Let me toll his ass.
Okay. That is a whiz
save.
save? Yeah. Okay. That's a 19, my guy.
Yeah. Level 2, my dude. All right.
Like the dice back here are getting, they're kind of getting where they need to go a little bit, though. Okay.
I echo that sentiment.
Nice.
Yeah, okay.
Dude, it's that
That
seat.
was two different.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
it's that seat.
Sorry.
Multi-tonal.
And I will just make sure. I would have liked to have backpedaled and did it. So I'm essentially facing him, so I can
Fade
see
away?
what's
Yeah,
happening.
the fadeaway
Yeah.
toll.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's
We haven't even figured out this dude's
My
AC
turn.
yet.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is round 3. Yeah.
All right. So as soon as you hear the large sort of undulating bell fill the entirety of the cavern, you see the tree-like creature shake its head for a brief moment. Thank you, motherfucker! Did I get some? I got someone.
Yeah.
Not me.
I got
okay. But now
I
who was it
almost
that
wrote it
actually
down.
followed?
I almost.
Maharishi?
the Maharishi.
The
All right.
Maharishi.
What's up? Thank you for the
Nice.
follow. Nailed it.
Almost
You
wrote
just
it down.
need to
I thought you had like a secret name. I was like, dang.
I was waiting to do a fucking saving throw.
All right. As you do your spell and fade away, it gives pursuit.
Weird.
And it is going to do a slam attack against Echo.
Not against Kavini.
That's an 11.
That misses.
Okay, so as it charges forward,
Yeah, miss.
the branches of its arms expand out, turning it almost into angular, sort of dagger-like implements as it plunges down, both of them crisscrossing right through Echo's form as she seems to silhouette herself in between them just for a brief moment before they are pierced out of the ground yet again, readying himself for his next attack. That brings us back around to Kavini.
Okay, people are sort of going, but not really.
That was one of my favorites. There's a very slow, it's like end bar close. Everybody's kind of working towards the door, but like...
Also, I feel like he's faster than me and Marith, at least.
Is this cave like all rock domed kind of inside,
Correct,
or
yes.
is there like vegetation growing?
There is very limited, you can see sort of scattered pockets of moss-like type vegetation, sort of an abundance of vines, probably more than you would expect to see in a cavern such as this. But otherwise, it doesn't have any like plants to speak of necessarily.
Okay. Is there a difference in the ground from like the path out to where he was, and essentially like where the vine came out of the ground?
Mm-hmm.
Is it like there's a soft earth right there, or it doesn't really matter? It's
It
just
seems
popping
rocky.
out.
It seems to have burst through, piercing the rocky floor.
Okay.
And created almost a shattered stone effect. In its emergence
I
point.
think I'm still just gonna get out of here. So I'm gonna run, and I'll. But before I get a little further away, I'm gonna try fucking hitting them with the
Making it rain with some coins. Okay,
firebolt.
sure. Yeah. Roll your take.
That's a 20.
That will
A
hit.
natural 20?
No.
Oh.
On there.
And that'll be 4 points of fire damage to finally the big guy.
Nice. Okay. Okay. So as Echo's form kind of just emerging from the 2 massive strikes delivered by this creature, you see a arcing ball of fire right over your head, landing in the creature's chest. And for a brief moment, you see it clawing at itself, almost seemingly reacting with some great verve as it tries to almost kind of rip and pull off pieces of its bark and chest, trying to force itself to recover from what seems like a significant strike.
Hell yeah.
Bonus action?
Nope, running away.
Okay, so Kavini moves another 30 feet up towards the cave mouth. Echo brings us back to you.
Okay, well, he's right on me, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna swing at him.
Okay, roll your attack. 11 does not hit, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Woof.
Do you have a bonus action you would like to take?
No.
You sure?
Like,
I think you have something you could cast.
Is the bonus section?
Yes, the Eshenorfax. Thank you for the
Alright!
He got me!
Saw that one coming.
Yeah, it's you know, come on now. You got,
And here I was like, ooh, that sounds like
I'm
an
working with
interesting
what
spell.
I got. So like, thank you for the follow, Eshenorfax.
I was gonna say, I have no bonus action spells, so I know that was.
I know, I just lied to you. All right, so
Punch him.
don't punch. All right, it is now Elle's turn. You are also fleet to foot, running from this large creature. What would you like to do?
Hey, leave her alone.
Swoop.
Okay, roll your attack. You make me want to sloop that shoop.
I've got that luck,
use it.
though.
Use it.
You're also inspired.
That was
Well, it's a natural one.
That would not have gotten it
Do
done.
better.
A natural one is too low.
Whoa.
13?
Over here counting on her
Wait,
fingers.
should I use the thing? Because we don't know what his AC
Yeah,
is.
use
You
it.
have to determine.
15.
You needed every bit of it.
Yes!
That is a hit, yes.
Shaboosh.
So 15 hits. Is that whatever?
Cut down the tree.
I'm gonna cut him down!
Yeah.
9 slashing!
Eesh.
Cool. Okay, please make L that new.
This is my voice now! I can keep this up!
Leave my friends alone!
Yeah,
My
that's
friends alone!
It's like weird L on our mix.
yeah, a very Muppet campaign we'd have going here. Okay. The axe striking deep into the sort of upper portion of the tree. The axe buries itself deep. L kind of forces it back out, is able to tug the axe from its frame, but it does still seem to be standing.
Yeah.
Bonus action! Yelling, Convening fighters seem to do really well! Come back!
That brings us to Marith.
All right, I'm gonna move up to his
All right, wait,
ass.
hang on real quick.
Oh.
Are you using movement at all?
Heck no!
All right. Marith.
I'm gonna move up to the creech,
Mm-hmm.
and I would like to, if I can, if he's not too tall, reach my hand up to where the axe buried in and kind of dig my hand in there and utter a word of radiance.
Oh. Okay.
And I would like to have the creature make a Constitution saving throw.
That is a 12.
My spell save is a 12.
He succeeds.
Damn.
Your
Level
DC is a 12?
We're level
Fucking
2!
level 2.
That seems really low.
Yeah.
Also, we're balanced this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good call.
Mine
okay.
is also a 12.
I'm 13, and that's only because I
Got an extra point
Got
for
an extra point
winning.
From the battle
yeah.
royale.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That brings us back to the monster, who now acts, cutting deep into its form, frustrated with a near miss, is going to go for a punch attack against Echo, which is going to be a 10.
Ooh, that's gonna miss me. I'm gonna. You don't hit.
Ooh.
Oh, Tyrone.
But from behind, another vine will emerge,
Oh no.
bursting forward, grabbing at Elle and seemingly wrapping up her form. You will take 2 more points of bludgeoning damage.
Alright. One of those is going to my TB.
Okay.
Tuberculosis.
I gotta get the TV in there. All right. Right. It is Kavini.
Okay, they're still messing around with that, so
He's messing around with that.
Pretty committed to messing around with it now. Yep.
and
Kavini stops. Are we not running?
Yeah, so I don't know. I heard Alan, they're not moving anymore, and he's not fighting me, so I'll shoot the J
Okay.
and firebolt over top.
Okay. Like.
Kobe!
Okay.
It just out of the cliff.
Yeah.
That's a 22.
That'll hit.
Yeah, you got a fucking Kobe.
5 points of fire damage to old stupid face.
That's right. I was gonna say put the Kobe's in the chat. Sally's out here putting their Kobe's in the chat.
Yeah. All right, what's up? So you see again now the ball of fire almost more formed and more refined. Kavini almost harnessing it, concentrating the power of his arcane ability, speaks the last uttered word on the page of his spellbook and lets it go in a massive thrust. Lets it linger.
Oh, you gotta put it out. You gotta keep it up.
That's right. You see this fireball explode off of its upper shoulder, a massive sort of spray of bark and tinder now shooting back forward out, and a large sort of depression missing within the form of the large tree creature. Seemingly screaming again, its arm literally falls off from its body as it crumbles to the ground and kind of skitters away, disappearing into the ground below. The creature emerging another arm from its form, seemingly smaller in size, substantially hurt. The fire, it seems like, still working its way through some of its insides. That brings us to Echo.
Good.
Oh, bonus action?
Yeah, well, sort of, kind of.
That brings you back to the very edge here, presumably, or at least nearby.
Well, I can do it from 120, but did the arm tentacle, did that do anything when I hit him with the fireball?
No, it did not seem to.
Okay.
It doesn't seem to be directly connected in any way.
Then yeah, I'll just chill where I'm at.
Okay. Now, Echo, it is your turn. What would you like to do?
Swing at him again.
All right, roll your attack.
Oh, at disadvantage. Oh, it's not gonna hit. Yeah.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah, that checks out.
Does a 9 hit?
No, a 9 does not.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Do you have a bonus action you'd like to take, or would you like to use any movement?
Yeah, I'm going to say this guy friggin' sucks, and I'm going to bardically inspire Gareth.
All right.
All right.
Through Echo's sort of stirring, emotionally inspiring, and uplifting words, you have now found a new ire in your enemy, the tree, and find yourself ready to be its equal.
Good.
Elle, you're up.
I'm still restrained.
You are.
I'm gonna break free.
Make a strength check. Make a check of your strength.
She wants to break free.
Just add my strength.
Yeah.
Add 10-bit strength, which is 9.
9. As you see Elle kind of wrestling with the vine, it continues to compact and swirl around her, unable to break free entirely from its grasp as the vine continues to close in on Elle's form. Unfortunately, unable to wrest yourself from it. You're not able to move. Do you have a bonus action that does not require somatic components?
You made the wrong choice. They're gonna burn you alive. This is kind of scary. That's it. That's all I have.
Yeah, checks out. Okay. You find
Stay
yourself
positive,
even more
Al.
stirred about the circumstances
I have 3
now.
HP.
Yeah.
And with
I get
both of your
past
allies now having verbally laid into the psyche of this formidable vegetation in front of you. What would you like to do with your turn, Merritt?
I would like to use my bone to touch this nefarious creature.
All right,
and
well,
chill his
roll your bone
fine
attack.
bones.
Why don't you roll a bone attack for me then?
Okay,
Huh?
well, I'm gonna roll my bones.
Why don't you try
Roll
to
bones and not roll
Roll the
bones.
bones.
Yeah, roll the bones.
Okay.
Roll the bones.
Fucking 10, Deej!
Right, that's a Hera thing from
A
that.
10?
I mean, you're
Wait.
partially inspired.
Wait!
Yeah, you do have all the.
Butter.
Your attacks are at disadvantage.
This melee spell attack.
That would be an attack.
But I thought it was skill checks. It was poisoned.
Movement speed. You might be right, actually. Yes. Sorry. Thank you.
What was my shit? Okay. And I'm gonna use my luck. No, not. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Fucking hit him. Crunch him.
Oh.
14, Deej?
14 is the creature's AC.
Yes, else! Okay, eat yourself.
I have no idea.
Fuck! Take this 1 point of
Yeah.
necrotic bony touch damage.
Okie dokie.
Fine fart.
Well, you'll still
You don't
you'd
get a
still
spell
add
attack
your
bonus?
you'd add your casting modifier to it still for the damage.
Well, it
No.
says no. Target takes 1d8 necrotic damage.
You don't add anything to damage from spells.
It's not in there.
No,
Oh,
some
spell attack bonus is just the
Bummer.
attack
Yeah.
bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
Spells
it's just
are
so common. I
weird.
thought like you would have had to have, but
No,
okay, that
I-
sucks.
I feel like
Not
there's
even your
some
proc?
wisdom spells
All
or
right.
something, but that's about it. Yeah.
So it now returns, the tree creature seemingly having dispelled a great deal of the fire working its way through its system and removing the remaining embers from its exterior. It is going to,
Thank you.
with the particularly egregious attack levied against it, it is going to make a slam attack against Marith, and that is going to be 13.
It does not hit.
So now
Fucking
the...
shield.
Oh, is that your AC otherwise?
No.
Oh, you have a 16?
With my shield out, yeah.
Brutes. So, as both hands dagger down towards Merritt's position, you hear this massive clang as a forceful jut comes out, the shield smashing one of the branches to pieces, small twigs bursting out, the throwing off balance of the creature now forces the other punch to miss far and wide. Merritt remains standing, seemingly unscathed from the attack. Kavini, that brings us to you.
Okay.
Just getting bored at this one.
Yeah. Eldritch Blast. Eldritch Blast.
That's not gonna hit. That's an 8.
An 8 does miss. So, do you want to take a bonus action using movement?
Nope.
Echo, what would you like to do?
Rage, fucking rage.
I mean, but you can't though, so you're sort
I
of a
can't.
little bit of
Well-
bard.
I am.
This is already like one of our longest fights ever.
I know, right?
Level 2, my needs.
Yeah.
But
It's
I'm
going
gonna try
fast.
casting Bane on him.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
All right.
So
Level
critical
2.
save.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, it don't work.
That's what I got.
That is an 11.
Oh, he's Bane!
An 11.
An 11, you
He's
said?
Bane!
Mm-hmm.
He burned.
Where do your baby hand go?
Okay.
I think it's over here.
Bonus action you'd like to take?
Don't.
You don't have one.
Well, I mean, I have one more bardic inspiration left.
Would you like to use it?
Kavini, we gotta kill this farter. So, like,
Yeah.
burn his ass to the ground.
Was the flame thing, was that flavor or is that the like ignite portion of Firebolt?
That was flavor.
Okay.
He's, if it hasn't been made clear, has a vulnerability to fire.
But is he a flammable object?
Creatures cannot be objects.
I don't know. He's kind of a tool.
Oh!
I've had 2 of those tonight.
And the creature will remember that on its
Sure.
turn.
Walkers in the chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, put your walkers in the chat.
Put your dad jokes in the chat.
All right, so that brings us to Elle. Elle, what would you like to do?
It is Elle's turn, and she would like to break free.
Make a strength check.
Strength. This looks like a strength one.
A strong die.
I mean, it sounded like a strong dice.
14.
It's a strong boy.
14.
Strong.
As the vine continues to squeeze and push down on Elle's form, you see the sort of abrasive metals on the exterior, her exoskeleton armor now forcing and cutting through as some of the twigs begin to snap. And in a brief moment, you see Elle burst out, massive Hercules pose before readying herself with the vine seemingly crumbling away directly behind her.
Nice.
Bonus action?
I'm gonna face the twig guy.
Okay.
That's all I can do.
Would you like to use any movement?
Oh, I do have a question.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I can do for repair spell?
Yep.
Is that an action?
Yep.
Okay.
Says that in the thing. All right. So, if that is Elle's turn, Merritt, that brings us to you.
Am I within touch distance of Elle?
You would have to move 5 feet,
I'll move 5 feet towards Elle.
but I'll have you know that would also give the creature an opportunity attack.
Yeah.
Oh no, because you're diagonal. You can do that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm sorry.
I will move towards her and I will cast Cure Wounds. My sensors still got a little bit of smoke going. I'll try to
Just quick.
to wind it up to get some
billowed
smoke up to you. My hand reaches through the smoke and will touch you.
All right. The green mint-colored bursting palm pushes forward, touches your shoulder, and immediately you find
5.
ooh,
Elle's not
brief
used to
rejuvenation.
it, so there's a quick ha!
Mm-hmm.
Just straight up when you snuck into the room that one time.
All right.
That was 5?
Yeah.
Do you have a bonus action or movement you'd like to use, Merritt?
Nope. I will just make sure to turn back to the creature with my shield at its ready.
Okay. At this point now, the creature still sort of recovering directly from its numerous attacks that it's already been victim of, sets its sights on Skadi
Nope. That's impressive.
Echo and raises up.
Gonna miss.
Yeah,
it's for sure gonna miss.
'Cause
22
she's like
AC.
all the way at the castle in Torgos.
Yeah, I feel like Skadi will sense this mumbo jumbo out here.
Plane shift.
Put the squash on his ass.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate y'all being here. All right, so the creature raises up its hands, unbunching its sort of rounded fist to create almost a flat panel, its hands joining together in a woven branch mat as it slams down directly on top of Skadi.
Not Skadi.
Echo. It's gonna take me a minute. It would have almost hit Skadi for the record.
What it have? Because you have to roll a d4 and subtract that from.
That's also true. But Echo, not Skadi, will take 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
It did hit me,
It did. It rolled a 21.
even with a minus 1d4.
I mean, if that were the case and it rolled 17, would that have hit you?
Yeah.
Okay, well then it hit you and you took 7 points of bludgeoning damage as the woven branch mat smashed you down to the ground.
Are you still up?
Yeah.
Woven branch mat.
Yep. Right, Kavini, that brings us to you.
This is stupid. I don't know why you guys aren't running.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna use it.
Yeah.
That's a 22 to hit.
That'll
The
do it.
dice roll. I mean, the AC is 14.
That's a 10 on the damage.
Fucking cinch those woody nips.
Whoa.
Okay, Meryl's got a dark side.
What happens next?
Yeah!
You did.
The Kobe will gently float down, and he'll be so mesmerized by it that he swallows it.
Swallow that man's Kobe.
Yeah, so as you see Kavini now...
Don't give me control.
Okay, are we the
cascading
is our
out.
group name the Kavini and the Kobe?
Yeah.
as Kavini cascades out a mote of fire rather than
Torgos near you.
work a direct dart. No bullets nor fireball resemblance of any kind. It almost lofts itself directly above the creature. And as it sees it coming, remembering the last several moments as it was burned and cast asunder by the burning char still on its form, the mote begins to slowly descend. And immediately you see the creature kind of take an abrupt step out of the way, watching it sort of float gently to the ground. Immediately begins to turn around to find the true form of the spell. Immediately rip through its face, drive directly into its mouth, down through its form, and you immediately see sort of this Wicker Man-like ignition as the entire internal source of this tree is spread out, the flame pushing out through each limb until it bursts and pops like a campfire song and crumbles to the ground in a squealing, urgy mess of burnt wood.
Original or Nick Cage version of the Wicker Man? It's critical.
Whatever your flavor is.
That's basically
Totally
how I described it, but thank you, Deej.
Yes. Yeah, I think I picked up what you were going for.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's exactly what Mike said.
Nailed it.
I think I had some more flavor to it,
Yeah.
but you had to put your touch on it. So
you know what? I gotta hog the limelight. That's what it is. All right. So you now stand in front of a sort of husk-like form of a destroyed tree creature. Vines now kind of receding from its form, drifting away and being pulled into the sort of rocky terrain that you had just battled upon. What would you like to do?
Elle's gonna take a couple steps backwards and then just plop down on her butt.
Okay.
And then cast Repair.
Okay.
I'll move over to Al. Hey, are you okay?
Yeah. Yep. Al is...
Take it easy, okay?
Yeah, I'm gonna sit down here for a while.
Is it...
Is there anything else bad around?
Yeah, is it ashen on the ground, or is it just like...
It still seems to be smoldering and burning. There is sort of definitive sense of it being consumed by the flames. You don't necessarily have anything to suggest where or what might be able to survive of this creature from what you're just purely observing. But the creature you had at least just engaged with seems extremely non-functional and destroyed.
Are there vines and stuff around still? Like...
They seem to have receded into the rocky floor around you. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Where he like kind of brought us to and we were talking, is there anything over there? Is there like... There's
a series of kind of potted plants. Almost round sort of bulbs, probably about 2 feet in height. A very, very slight wisp of pinkish color, barely emerging from what is otherwise kind of a very dark, almost brown-like green surrounding cover.
Does it look natural in nature or magical in nature?
You would not have come across plants like this, at least as far as you're aware, on the material plane in your travels thus far.
Okay. So it's either magic or magical plants.
Magical plant stuff.
Mr. Cavini.
Or exotic plants.
What?
Nice work.
I said we should have run, but...
Well,
I said we shouldn't have trusted him.
I mean, it doesn't really matter now, does it?
I think that's a good point. Is everyone okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just still feel like absolute shit. Water did nothing.
Well, yeah, I don't know. Deej?
Yep.
We're like midday, because we started morning, had to travel for a few hours.
Yep, this would probably put you very early afternoon.
Okay. Well, we could. I don't know if this area is safe. We could maybe sit down and just have a quick lunch or something, and then go back to figuring out whatever is going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay. I'm not exactly hungry, but I could take a spell.
I don't
The
think
wizard
we should
pushes for his
be
short rests.
in the magical tree man's house and eating lunch.
Well,
'Cause we don't know what else is here.
right.
Like there was that vine that kept wrapping around everybody.
Why don't we go back to the cart?
Does the flowers, does that look similar in nature to the mushrooms that was outside the tree that did its...
No, they're very different.
But, like, in the same way as they don't look like they belong.
They do seem unnatural in this environment. They're very lush. They almost feel like they'd have maybe more heft to them than the typical vegetation in the area. You can move closer and inspect one if you like.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll move closer with my shield out, just trying to take... I guess, is it a flower?
It's really more of a bulb. It's a
Does it look
large...
Venus flytrappy?
Not quite. It's almost more like a wine glass.
Okay.
On the outside with the sort of bare emergence of a few pink petals kind of poking beyond what likely unfurls into a full flower there.
Yeah, I'll move closer, keeping my shield up just in case some things try to whap at me.
Okay.
I'd like to get closer to it. I'd like to take a look at it.
All right.
But I'll do so behind him.
Okay. Are either of you proficient in nature?
I doubt it.
No.
Nope.
No? Okay. I'm going to have... we'll let both of you make one at disadvantage if you like.
I mean, I'm already at disadvantage. Yeah, I mean, I'll still roll it.
Disadvantage doesn't stack, so I
can still get 2 20s. Roll it.
You could.
But it didn't.
I did that one time.
6 for me.
12 for me.
12. So, as you're both kind of leaning in and getting a little bit of a closer look, Meredith, you touch the outside of it, and it almost has like a fibrous texture, like a thick, heavy, almost kind of like banana leaf sheath on the outside. This bulb seems to be protected by kind of a very thick, almost leathery type of leaf on the outside. Kavini otherwise focuses on kind of the top, trying to see if he can't investigate some of the interior portion of it to a certain extent, and kind of just peeling back some of the petals a little bit. Kavini, you're trying to look, focusing, and you hear and you see almost this small undulating pulse kind of push from the inside, just barely moving the leaves just right there at the top, or the petals emerging from it.
Well, that's a little unnerving.
What?
I think it has a heartbeat.
Also, it looked like KJ tried to give you all the emergency luck in the world.
Yes.
But that didn't work out. I'm sorry about that, KJ.
All good.
I'm gonna refund those for you.
He's
He can do them, or if he does them again, you guys get the Lux right away, I promise.
Does this bulb look like it's big enough to house a creature?
I mean, a creature that could fit in kind of like a 2x1-ish type of almost egg-shaped.
I mean, I guess
Flower pot.
are goblins that small? Like, could a goblin
It
be squished in there?
It would be pretty tight for a goblin unless it was very young.
Could a kid go in there?
A small enough kid, yeah. I mean, you're really just looking at kind of a 2-foot-tall egg almost,
Yeah.
and anything young enough or small enough could conceivably fit in there.
I know.
He said something about a seed.
A seed?
Yeah, he.
Sounds heterotic.
Yeah, he.
Thank you for the follow. Sneaky, I think, maybe a little.
You don't break things.
I don't have paper. We
I
covered
threw you
this.
2 of them.
Just grab some paper.
I don't know where they went.
Where is
Paper
JP?
right
They
there.
hit your tongue.
California.
We're not doing it. All right.
Where's JP when you need it?
Yeah, right.
JP.
I would like to take my sword and the circle of steel sword and behind the shield, kind of down at the base of it.
Mhm.
see if I can't kind of slice into it a little bit.
Okay. I'm going to have you make a sleight of hand check.
Okay.
When he's doing that, can I was like inside, right?
Well,
So,
yeah, you didn't rip it open, but you're kind of just trying to shift the petals.
I guess I would like to see if it reacts in any kind of way to the sword touching it.
Okay.
I mean, we can coordinate if that's a thing.
Yeah, I just want to see if anything it or you do it senses essentially.
All right, 17.
17.
I'll wait for him to kind of give me the nod of go ahead.
Okay. So, as the shield steps aside, Mara's sort of buttressing it right on the handle of the shield and pushing forward very slowly in sort of a dissecting-like slice. You see that the dark green fibrous leaves on the outside give way as the blade cuts through with relative ease. And you don't hear or see any immediate reaction. This is with a small sort of incision. Would you like to do anything else?
Does it seem like a thick hide? Like did anything come out from the cut? Did it give me any tension? Like was it like a thick rough?
It does seem to be very dense, very thick in texture, and a very hardy plant, though it seems to sit on what is probably a 2.5 or so foot tall stem that's probably only about that big around.
You want to kind of brace the thing? I'll see if I can cut it at the stem.
You said there's 3 of these, correct?
Correct.
One
is open, the one that he was sitting in when you entered the cave.
Yeah, I'd like to go check the other 2 to see if maybe they're similar.
Okay.
Echo, Al, do you guys want to come look at this?
Are you nearby me?
Yes.
Or maybe see if there's anything in the guy. He said something about needing what did he say?
A host?
Yeah, something like that. Maybe there's something inside him?
A shell.
Oh. Is it gonna be weird? Can I have a head tap?
I'm...
Not you. She's right next to me. Okay. And I'm gonna go through his ashes. I'll lean forward and just like see what I can find and like I'm gonna take some of it. If there's any twigs or anything left.
Okay. I need you to make an investigation check.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah. Investigation check is going to be a honor.
Ooh.
Nice.
So as you're rummaging through, you're pulling some of the wood apart, using some of the bracers to quick sort of kick out some of the still smoldering flames and anything that has a little bit of ignition still going for it. And as you do, the vast sort of majority, the bulk of its sort of torso in this twisted sort of cage of burnt wood almost completely collapses in on itself. And it's there you sort of see that there's actually almost a solid-like plate. Almost as if it was wearing kind of a chest piece. And as you pull it out, it actually appeared as if it was just a singular sort of rounded piece of bark covered in a little bit of moss and some extended branches. But as you kind of pull it out, it seems thick and heavy. Does not seem as if it's burnt. It's simply darker than a lot of the wood that might have been on its form beforehand. And as you flip it over, it seems to have a gauntlet handle run through the back side of it. This appears to be some kind of shield.
Cool.
Okay. So are you cool doing what we did on this one to the other 2? Just kind of seeing.
Well, one is wide open.
The one we first checked, right?
No, the one he was seated in.
Oh, and that's like the petals are like flailed out kind of deal.
Seated? Seated.
Wow, dude. Okay, I'm taking psychic damage at this point.
Yeah.
I'm I'm gonna come over with the shield.
We're in rare form today.
Yep.
He had this in him.
In him?
I think so.
Shit.
Okay.
So
what's going on here? What are we doing? What are we looking at?
There's some plants. This one seems to have some sort of life to it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's got a heartbeat.
3 flowers, one with a heartbeat. What about the other closed one?
We were just about to check that.
Yeah. When we look in the one that he was sitting on, see, that might give you a good indication of what's inside the other ones if he emerged out of it or.
That's what it kind of looks like. I'm gonna look into the closed one.
Well, that's what we were. Okay. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. They just created a small incision in sort of the base of the bulb of this sort of still tightly packed and closed one. The last remaining one almost does appear sort of a Venus flytrap-like in the sense that its bulb almost appears more like a teardrop with the opening not quite as exposed, no petals revealed at the moment, it seems. The chair that he was seated in, this creature, originally sort of unfurled with long pink petals, almost like tongues extended from the center of where this bulb would have been standing on the ground, though it seems as if it is now lowered to the ground, no longer perched on any kind of thin, spindly stem. What are you doing?
I'm just looking.
I'm sorry, real quick. As you pull the shield out, because of your check, I'm sorry.
Okay.
There appears to be in the fire, and it's only because of your sort of keen eyes and deft sort of hand movements that you were able to observe that there almost appears to be these kind of tiny black, almost motes sort of moving in and out of the fire. Difficult to see, would be very difficult to try to determine exactly what's happening. They move slow before darting briefly. You're looking at 4 of them, and as you are observing this, you see one pop out and disappear.
I want to try to get the other ones.
Make a survival check.
Totoro wisps.
It is a 13.
A 13. As you kind of quickly move through, not protecting your hands quite as much, you burn yourself a little bit on some of the still smoldering embers of the body of the first seed, unable to sort of grab out these floating motes. You ultimately are able to clutch and grab onto one. It feels heavy, extremely heavy in your hand, almost resisting as you pull it out in space, though nothing holds it there, before you almost feel it let go. And you look in your hand, and there hovers a small black mote, the other 2 seemingly darting off and disappearing.
I'll put that in a vial.
Okay.
Tight.
Creepy.
It's cool.
Magic stuff.
While they're all doing this, I want to just kind of be like taking a look around the room, waiting for something else too. Just looking for movement in the cavern.
Okay. We'll go ahead and give you a perception check here.
I would like to, the one with the heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to go back over to that one and get a little clearer sense or vision on the source of the actual beat.
Okay.
And then I'm going to try to cast message to it.
Okay. So you go and kind of pry back the petals just a little bit more firmly. You get to the point where there's almost a little bit of give back as you kind of peel it open enough just to get a solid glimpse inside.
Don't want to harm it.
Yep. Moving as delicately as possible. You peer in and see what almost looks to be a lizard-ish type creature. It seems very tightly wrapped in on itself. A bright blue body, limbs almost kind of cocooning around itself, and on its what appears to be its head, its face. There's a large silver orb and 4 sort of straps made of metal as well that seem to clinch onto the frame of its face.
The sticky in me wants it so bad.
And the orb is metal?
Yep. Well, it appears to be metallic. There's a silver reflectivity to it.
Yeah, so I'll point at it and I'll just say, can you hear me?
Okay.
And wait for a reaction.
You see the small creature rile and twitch before seemingly settling back to a 0 state of movement.
Would we have seen the bulb move at all?
It wasn't particularly violent or erratic as much as it almost seemed unnaturally responsive, more of a reflex type of movement than something that will be conscious in terms of effort. Its arms didn't seem to unfurl in response or anything to that effect. It was more so a full body gyration that sort of bordered on a vibration almost.
Okay, I'd like to just watch it for a few seconds to see if it does that again. Like essentially, if there was some sort of reaction to what I said, or if it simply had a jostle.
Okay.
I'll assume it doesn't move again.
It doesn't over the course of a few moments.
Okay.
For sure.
Last question. Have I seen anything like this before? Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. There's a little lizard in there. It's got this contraption. Like, does it almost look man-made?
It looks nearly machine.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a certain... There doesn't appear to be anything inherently organic about it.
I don't know.
Does it look captured?
Marith, I don't know.
All right.
I can't tell if this is some sort of stasis pod or... if it's siphoning energy from it, but that wouldn't make too much sense. It's such a small creature.
I'm gonna put my hand around the stem and see. Do I feel any pulsing or moving?
Don't seem to.
Echo, what do you make
Can I
of this?
move the pod by the
It's
stem?
pretty rigid, despite
Okay.
the fact that it's very thin, probably no more so than a broom handle, and it looks like the head of the pod would weigh like almost 20-ish pounds. It's very large compared to this thin little handle. You're able to give it a good wiggle, and if you
It's like trying to move a stop sign. Like, you can move it, but it's not.
It's not
doing shit with it.
quite that rigid, but like maybe a wooden stake in the ground, it seems to have a great deal of resistance to it, yeah.
Were we able to look into the other closed one?
You can try if you'd like.
Yeah. I would like to do that.
Okay. So you navigate over to the remaining closed pod and find that it almost has 2 lips that are sort of converged at its apex, with the pod itself giving this teardrop-like form. You're unable to really kind of gently wrest it away as Kabini did. I need you to make a strength check.
10. Wait! I can only use them this time. Oh, why do you do this to me? 10.
In the dice jail it goes. It seems as if, as Elle is pulling and fighting, the strength of it holding itself together, the fibrous nature of it, doesn't have a lot of give. And as you're just about to maybe crest open the sort of securing point, your hand slips off the entirety of your grip and weight, pulling on the other side, and you rip the leaf opening. A quarter of the entire bulb now exposed and onto the ground, almost falling out of the center of this pod, a creature largely resembling sort of a bat. Seems to hit the ground. The leathery sort of material of its wings kind of hitting the ground with a flop.
My bad.
Does it
Look over at
small
Al.
like a bat? Or like a spit, like
About 3 feet wide, maybe.
bigger than any bat that I have ever seen?
It was an accident.
It's bigger than your average bat for sure.
Does it have a thingy on its...
So as you kind of get close, it too appears to have a silver ball affixed to the front of its face, the metal fasteners seemingly around the skull of the creature as well.
It was an accident. Is this what you're talking about?
Does it have a heartbeat?
I'm gonna take my... God, I can never remember. My shemagh?
Shimano.
My shemagh. I'm gonna wrap it around my face because this makes me nervous, and so I'm gonna tie it tight, and I'm gonna go close and like here, but like try to... How do you find a pulse on a bat?
Just pinch its wings, right? Just
Yeah.
do this and see if it.
And if I can't feel
pulses
it this
at you.
way, I'll just straight up be like, oh.
Go ahead and make a medicine check.
Try its
I'm
butt.
gonna say at disadvantage
I got a 13, by the way.
for your.
Perception of the room.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Ten. It was a debate on whether or not I was going to use my luck, and I decided no.
Okay, so it does not appear to have a pulse. You are able to retrieve no signs of life from this small creature.
I think I killed it.
I'd like to run over and grab it, and I'm going to try to put it back in the other pod.
Okay, I'm gonna say make a sleight of hand check for that. The creature is easy enough and light enough for you to pick up, but it sort of requires a little maneuvering. The pod seemingly formed around the lizard-like creature.
22.
22. So, folding the wings, kind of wrapping it almost pig in a blanket style, the bat wings circled around the exterior now, like a sort of Wiener Schleiden.
That's right.
And thank you for hanging out, Sally. I very much appreciate it. Sally's going to be taking off, so want to thank you for coming out.
Oh, thank you.
Bye, Sally. Every
Thanks,
night.
Sally.
Kavini now pushes the creature sort of gently down in, kind of trying to tuck it in a forced cuddle puddle inside this little flower pod, seemingly disappearing just barely beneath the very crest of the upper portion of this pod. You're able to insert the bat, it seems, without too much issue.
And then I'll just kind of fold up the top. I'm just gonna kind of see what happens. I'm gonna check it later.
Okay.
Echo, did you find anything?
No signs of movement, no stirrings, nothing out of sorts. You do see further down in the cave, probably a couple 100 feet, and it's just brief, but as you're the only one sort of paying attention and being on the lookout, you recently caught a couple slight flashes of yellow or some sort of reflected light, something that almost seems as if you would almost say maybe a brief torch passing by, but just as easily at this distance could have been a lightning bug.
Yeah, I think there's something down that way, but it's not coming towards us at all.
I'm gonna look in the big flower that he was sitting on.
Okay.
And I want to look around it too. Is there a animal around there?
There doesn't seem to be any animal carcasses of any kind. This pod appears bigger. It was probably closer to 4 feet tall at its maximum. If you're doing a rough extrapolation of what type of creature it might have held were it housed in a similar fashion, this pod definitely has substantially more length or height to it, if you will. But there doesn't appear to be any definitive sign of a creature whatsoever.
Does it look like it was big enough to hold the guy that we were originally following if he was like fetal positioning it?
What guy?
The guy who then got shed his skin and became a tree man?
Gotcha.
Yeah, tree guy.
Maybe. It would be a very tight fit compared to the others, perhaps, but it's possible. It probably isn't the likely scenario from what you're observing. But
Are they connected at all, the three plants?
they don't appear to be.
I am out of my depths here.
Yeah.
I can't tell if this has anything to do with what we're here for, or if it is remarkably different.
I don't see any of the medicine around here.
I don't think he would have much use. It would have much use for it.
I don't think so either, but I mean, he got us in here by, persuasion and, could do that with others.
Should we?
I mean, I don't know what happened to the villagers, but
Should we go back to the village? Should we?
We should go talk to the goblins.
Go through the cave more?
The goblins are gone.
Well, they were going home, weren't they? You said that their foot tracks went when we kept going.
Well,
Yeah, like out of the city.
They,
Yeah, but I mean, they might still know what happened to everybody.
possibly. But they also might be back as well. If they have free reign on a city.
They
I have
probably
to
are the ones
imagine.
that took whatever was in the cart.
if you guys do me a favor and just come with me down this,
Yeah.
toward the back of the cave and go look at what Echo has seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just 1 second. I want to try one thing. And I'll go over to burnt dead body guy. I want to scoop up some ashes, and then I want to bring them over to the open pod
Okay.
and spread it on the open pod and see if that does anything.
It doesn't seem to react. The ash drips down into the pod, tainting the pink that you're able to sort of see at the visible surface. Some of the petals sort of give way to some of the slightly bigger pieces. There's still a great deal of heat kind of contained, maybe not enough now to burn you, but a very definitive sense of warmth that you might not want to hang on to too long if it were to generate its own, or if it were to cool, eventually it would be fine, but it doesn't seem to have any immediate reaction.
All right. After you.
Well, would you mind putting some lights up?
I still have light up.
Oh.
It's an hour.
All right.
There wasn't any silver thing around the pot at all either. Cool.
Didn't appear to be.
I'm gonna quick take some notes of everything we saw and the size and shape and how things were laid and try to do a quick sketch. And then, okay, I got my battle axe.
So I'll head back towards where Echo stated that she saw
And I'll be right
kind of
behind
a
him,
shimmer or
ready to
whatever.
help.
So you begin pushing down. This is actually through the small cavernous river. Now that you are sort of able to get a gauge for it, Echo pointing you in the direction of where this light had emanated from, you see that the cave kind of carries on, and as this underground river pushes deep into the cave, it almost seems to fall off in a sloop somewhere deeper into the rocky sort of cavernous terrain. There is almost another plateau well beyond, another couple 100 feet or so that has almost this mossy grass kind of growing that leads to almost a separated tunnel that extends deeper beyond once you cross this underground river. Sort of off from the sort of main central area, if you push deeper in, you ultimately see that there is a small bend as well as a new sort of cavernous opening with a directional sort of vibe to it.
Is everything around us just stone?
Yeah, I mean it's cave. It's not machined. It's not worked stone. But yes, you're.
Is there earth pushing up from the stone, like where we can possibly?
There are
see
very
footprints?
small pockets, maybe, where there is some exposed dirt, where the cave wall has sort of given way over the years. Presumably, the water cutting through has run through and cut into this rock, but is no longer being seeped out through ground anywhere. Based on all of the natural factors you're able to observe, it seems unlikely there's any large collection of sort of soft earth anywhere nearby.
The water itself, does it give off any kind of odor, or does anything visually?
It's a little musty. It doesn't have any unique or unusual traits that you can gather. It is cave water. It kind of smells and looks like a little darker than the surrounding environments, and your light cuts to the bottom as it's only a foot and a half or so deep, it seems like, but you see plenty of inclusions kind of floating through with rocks and dirt and junk a little bit being continued to carry on with this water.
Presumably carried from up top down kind of deal.
Right.
Is there any vegetation itself in the water?
No. The stuff that is getting through is likely small enough particles where it's able to work its way through cracks in rocks more than fall in from a central delivery.
I just
source.
wonder if there's anything actually growing down here.
Doesn't appear to be, not directly in the river. No.
Okay. All right.
I'll just continue following to that new bend that you talked about.
Okay.
I
So-
will follow behind him.
Going stealthily.
All right. Well, let's have you guys go ahead and roll a stealth check then.
Yeah, not rushing to get there.
Should I do so with advantage because of my light?
No, I'll just mark that against your spot DC.
So I rolled a disadvantage. If I want to use my luck, would I just undo my disadvantage, or?
No, I would give you a new roll. You're not just gonna undo a trash roll with your luck. That's not how it works.
Okay.
All right, Echo.
13.
13 for Echo. Marith.
7.
Kavini.
15.
Kavini on the fires tonight. El.
Anthar.
Ooh. El out here looking stealthy. All right, so you all begin moving down the central cavern, trying to be quiet and stealthy as Marith kind of just sloshes across the open face of the river.
Yeah, I'm
Not
pleased.
overly concerned, doesn't really care. And you begin walking down. After a couple hundred feet, continuing to navigate down this corridor, you do eventually see now what appears to be, as the path curves just a little bit out from sight of the original sort of basin you entered into, there is manufactured stairs, angular, purposeful cut stairs, disappearing into a cave wall that has what appears to be a cleanly cut doorway out of it. From that doorway, a soft orange glow burns on the opposite side as you approach, seemingly a torch on the wall nearby or some lantern pointing in its direction.
I'll stop you guys. No. That's to go forward. There's stairs and a doorway and a torch.
Is there anything living? Like, I want to like look around, not just like in the front area, but like all up and down, since there was like bats and stuff in the flower.
Okay.
Is there anything around?
Nothing in your immediate surroundings. Go ahead and make a perception check for me, I'll say.
14.
Yeah, the cavern interior, largely devoid of anything inherently organic. No creatures seem to be lurking about. The overall sort of presentation is the occasional bit of hanging moss, a couple small mushrooms kind of growing out a couple inches in length, very few scattered pieces of earth trying to burst through, but there's very little in the way of grown or organic material down here aside from the rock you step on.
Would anyone mind if I did a thing?
No. It's going to end good.
Go ahead, do your thing.
Do it.
Okay. And I'll start walking, and I'll go up the stairs, and I'll knock on the door.
There is no door. It is an open
Archway?
doorway. Yes, it is a
Oh.
cutout.
Oh. Okay, well, I'll go up to the door.
Okay?
With the doorway.
Yes.
I will follow very closely behind him.
So as you casually walk up and
Doors ain't hurting nobody.
we'll go up these stairs, you peer inside, and you see that there is two immediate pathways you can take. Kind of doing a quick peer to the right gives you what appears to be kind of a table, almost in a rhombus-like shape, with the front edge of it being a little narrower than the back edge. there being a few scattered pieces of paper and some collections of some items you can't quite make out from a distance. A small candle burnt nearly to the bottom, directly on top of it, just barely illuminating some of these things in what would otherwise be a pitch black corridor. The distance to the desk probably only about 20 feet. Difficult to say if there's anything of note other than the main features you're kind of able to identify in the dim light. As you look to the left, though,
Bright light.
He's got his.
oh, that's right. So you are able to make out more or less what was described. It seems as if there is also kind of a few jars that now with the reflection, it seems that the glass pointing your direction seems to give a little bit more of a sheen. And you can see that the desk itself is almost kind of an established alchemical type of desk that has small drawers built into fold-outs near the top. But at the moment is covered with papers and some scattered debris. You can't quite make out the details.
Does this look more like an inhabitant's, a workstation, or like a hallway with a desk in it?
It would be almost like, if bartenders made like medieval poisons, like this would be their mixing station.
Okay.
But there's no real evidence of created potions or poisons or anything to that effect immediately visible. As you look to your left, looking in now, the torch directly sort of over your form, angled away from the wall, illuminating the doorway. You turn left, and you see a figure in a large green robe, turning around, beginning to take notice of the bright lights now sort of shone in. Figure you recognize, actually.
I didn't know.
This is the emissary that you encountered outside the charging hog. And he turns around. Oh. Wonderful. He seems agitated and begins walking towards you. What would you like to do?
I'm sorry, sir. We didn't mean to intrude. We were just looking for people. They seem to have all disappeared. But you're here.
Yes.
I didn't see this dude. I ran away as soon as they popped out of the
Oh,
bar.
yeah, that's right.
I saw him though.
I never saw this dude. Do you live here, sir? It's there's quite the dangers.
He's kind of just staring you up and down. He now stands in the doorway that seems to enter into a larger room, having walked directly from sort of the middle point, directly where he was working on something, bent over, turned around, walked straight towards you, and stopped at the door's edge. What are you doing here?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I don't know. We were sent to the town. Are you familiar with Styrewood? Just out the cave, down the path. What?
Who are you?
I'm Mr. Cavini. And you, sir?
I'm the emissary to the one true king, the ruler of this plane, and you have now trespassed upon sacred ground and powerful ritual, interrupting both, and in the process making yourself an enemy of a god.
I'll take one step back. I meant no harm, sir. I will leave. We walked upon and saw a doorway, and doorways are meant to go through, and they're welcoming, and I didn't mean to, and I'll go now. And I'll turn around and walking away. Come on, Echo!
So sorry.
As you begin stepping away, you hear... Unbelievable. And then you hear almost this kind of slumping but also feathery breath dissipating away. And a brief turnaround reveals almost this like ethereal form, green smoke reaches out to the interior of the doorway that he is standing in. places his hand on the wall, and immediately you see green spires and strips begin to race around the entirety of the room, carving in glyphs and runes that seem to fill the entirety of the cave, charged like liquid rushing through measured tubes. And as it all stops, it immediately turns a reddish blue that kind of drifts back and forth like an arcane lava lamp. And the cave begins to shake and rumble. I'm done with them. And you see it disappear into the ground, leaving behind a mulchy mess of dirt and this organic kind of mold, almost spore-like essence spilling out, creating a bit of a sporous smoke as the figure disappears. And that is when you hear, "Help! Help us!"
I'll go running up the stairs.
Yeah, me too.
That's where we're going to take our break.
No! Oh, so many things just happened.
So we
That was so freaking dope.
are going to take a... What was that? Oh, hey! It's
Bunch of them tonight.
Echino-Norlax.
No, Echinorifax, I think I got. I'm probably trash and I probably said it wrong, but Echinorifax, I want to say I got.
That sounds like a company.
Yeah, but I'm gonna. Okay,
Sounds like a city where the gaming goat is.
Boxkinato.
Assuming. Well, you know what? Here's what happened. KJ did the F and KJ thing that KJ does because KJ is basically boss hogging it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he just stands there like a beautiful.
Pretty
Canadian.
cool beans, okay? But then Asumia wasn't having it, okay? So we have the gifted subs.
Whoa.
Okay? Battle of the Gifters, which is basically a win-win for all because it is the season of giving, almost, kind of. Eshumiwa.
That's the only season is the season. That
Put it in the chat, I'll read it, I promise you.
They put it in chat like a bunch.
You know what? I couldn't even say
Ashumiwa.
Norlax?
Eshu Booyah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Booyah, for the subs. Hey, thank you so much to all the people who have hung out and followed. We got Double Brook, who is new and hanging and banging with us now officially. Thank you for becoming an action junkie. Ashumiwa and Echinorifax, I'm going to say, is correct. Thank you guys so much for those supportees. KJ for holding it down. Our new action junkies, thanks for joining us. We're going to take a very short break, and where we pick up is going to be determining the Still Nameless party's response to cries for help inside a experimental cavernous laboratory type setup.
We gonna save you.
I mean,
or we gonna die.
You say that.
We gonna save people.
Either
we're
way,
heroes.
we gonna be right back.
That's right.
Bye, guys.
It's that chair, dude. That chair.
And welcome back to Holding Action. Excellent. Well done, everybody. So proud of all of you.
I'm proud of Michael.
Yeah.
Hey, we have
my Michael.
Eshua. Out here who
He's practicing all break.
He was.
Eshimiwa, who also threw out some more gift subs. You guys are basically kicking our stream right there in the booty. And doing the awesome, cool, fun, good stuffs. So you guys are the bees.
Oh yeah, that person gives a bit.
Bees and knees. You are 1,000% where the lower portion of a leg and the upper portion of a leg meet on a bumblebee.
Shibuya.
That makes sense. So if you are, yes, it does. Okay, yes, it does. If you are just joining us, thank you for joining us. If you've been hanging out with us, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We want to again remind you all to continue to support the stream, continue to do the good things and the awesome stuffs that we are fans of and like, because we want to be able to continue to do this and provide more fun and exciting offerings all the time. But if you're just hanging and banging with us in the background there too, you know what? That is its own form of support. We appreciate everybody hanging out with us this eve. There's also that. For those of you just joining us though, the party has traveled to Styrewood, a small, isolated, sort of rural-esque village seemingly charged with either producing or supplying the Circle of Steel with a contract of medicine. The shipment never arrived, and through various circumstances, specifically involving a large tavern being exploded from the inside, and a scuffle that took place directly outside of it, the party finds themselves tasked with retrieving the missing shipment of medication. After having traveled to Styrewood, they did find the Circle of Steel cart. While beat up and rather obviously brandishing attack marks of some kind, most of the medicine they were charged with recovering seems to be both on site and intact. However, a local collection of goblins having taken advantage of the town when it was devoid of its villagers sort of caused a few small hiccups for the group before the group dealt with them rather briefly in a very creative and fun way, I might add, and then ultimately set themselves upon the path of discovering where these missing villagers may have gone. This path of exploration led them north out of Styrewood into the forest, where they eventually came across a cave, led there by a mysterious individual that ultimately turned out to be a human-esque shell being controlled by the first seed, some plant-based creature making the cavernous interior its home, and a battle ensued, as it seemed to be in pursuit of a new shell, or so it says. Fortunately, the party discovered its vulnerability to fire, and through a coordinated effort, burned it to the ground. The tree lying in ruins, the cave itself largely devoid of any immediate dangers, they set their sights upon investigating some peculiar plants that were ultimately revealed to house small creatures that had interesting metallic devices attached and strapped to their face. Not knowing what to make of it or what to do about it, the party seemed to leave them alone and carry on further in the cave, where Echo had spotted a small flicker of light dancing off a cave wall. As the group moved forward quietly, surreptitiously, and Meredith trudging along, the party came across what appeared to be machined stairs, as well as an archway opening into a small interior that Kavini, with the gusto and charisma of a grand marshal, walked directly up, looked around a little bit, only to find that at one of the ends of the hallway stood an individual referring to himself thus far only as the emissary. The same emissary who had originally greeted the party outside of the Charging Hog, the exploded tavern in the city of Torgos, from which their task was received. Seemingly frustrated and distraught at Kavini's attendance in the cave, and seemingly understanding what his presence there would suggest, the figure seemed to vanish and transpose itself into some spectral-like green form before disappearing and falling away into a moldy dirt in the ground, its form completely dissipating into nothing. But not before it seemed to activate some runic arcane magic with its spectral form. And as Kavini stand there taking slow and measured steps backwards, the arcane light begins to race around the interior of the room, seemingly illuminated behind the figure, all the way through the hallway before the rest of you all now see various lines being carved with runes appearing in a soft reddish glow throughout the entirety of the cave interior, and the ground begins to shake. As soon as the ground begins to vibrate and crack, you hear from the room beyond, after this figure has faded away, a cry, seemingly desperate. "Please, help us!" So, what happens next?
Yeah, I go running.
Well, I was right there with Kavini,
Yep.
so I'm going to look in.
Okay. So as you pierce the entry point of this room, you immediately see the entire right-hand side of the room is lined in metal caging, similar to prison cells, though it almost seems as if large, thick rebar-like piers were stuck into the wall and then bent down to form almost kind of like a half of a luggage trunk kind of form. And there is a sort of latched and welded sort of cross-section of additional metals that almost appears to have formed some kind of rudimentary door, sealing this cell, this cage, shut. What would you like to do?
Do I see the people?
The cage itself appears full of people and is basically a collection of probably about 24 individuals. A few kids, some women and men kind of cowering in the back, and one sort of more overt human-looking male, kind of a very definitive strip of bald right down the middle, brown hair kind of cascading to the sides, clearly soaked in sweat and kind of dirty looking. Probably at one point a relatively nice and straightforward tunic, but now drenched in some stains and a general sense of collected dirt along most of his form, with the scraggly hair kind of erratically flailing as he looks at you. You have to get us out, please! Please do something! Help!
I'm gonna go to the door.
Okay, the cage?
Yeah.
I'm gonna call Marith up.
Yeah,
Marith!
I'm already running up there.
I would like to take a look at the ruin, the runic symbols on the wall as they're glowing and lighting up. And
okay, they've already coursed through, and now the ground is vibrating directly underneath all of you.
Then during that period,
the symbols themselves appear to kind of almost shift very slightly, a rotational form, as they're sort of imprinted on the wall. A projection hologram-like glow kind of emitted directly over them, sort of softly rotates over top of it. Not in a circle, but standing directly on top of where the rune is almost seemingly now carved, where it was not visible before. Go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Can I?
Not trash, but trash. I don't get inspiration's gone, right? That's not even on this thing.
That's 10 minutes.
Okay. 14.
14. So as you are kind of identifying it, what spells do you know?
Stuff. I know Firebolt, Light, Message, Minor Illusion, Comprehend Languages, Detect Magic, Disguise Self, Identify, Mage Armor, Shield, Silent Image.
You know a lot of spells. Okay, you get the very definitive impression from the pieces you were able to make out, kind of identifying the runic figures, looking at the corners, connecting, and then it hits you briefly. You've seen a spell exactly like this before. A spell you don't yourself know, not recorded in your book. You believe you remember it being called the Earth Tremor spell.
Okay. Do I remember that being really bad, or
you don't?
Like, I don't know. So
you wouldn't. You're not under the impression it's particularly rare magic, but it's also supposed to be relatively low-level magic. However, when scattered across and enchanted a large area.
Yeah.
So the ground is shaking around you. Individuals in the cage are screaming for help, and the individual presses himself up to the bar. Get them out, please. Just get them out.
Is it a lock? Is it?
It appears solid metal.
There's no,
the
like,
door
handle?
itself, almost, yeah. It's not. It doesn't appear to have any kind of immediate latching mechanism or hinges.
But there is like a door.
Yeah, it appears as if there's almost a cross section of metal running across where you would expect a door likely to be.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna pull out my crowbar and try and pry where the door would be open.
All right, make a strength check at advantage.
So it's straight roll.
Yeah, you're still poisoned. Is anybody else doing anything?
You said that there was like scattered notes and stuff on the table.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna just shovel some of that in my sack.
Okay.
Since
At this point, you
somebody
begin to
else is
hear
doing
the
door.
roof and a large rock from the ceiling drops down outside the very entryway to the staircase you had entered into.
14.
14. You pull off one of the bars. You're able to pull off 2 cross sections. The bars themselves still too narrow to really do anything. It seems as if almost the brute forcing of this door is meant to be kind of either a Herculean effort or certainly something that would take more time than it seems like you have.
The section off to the left, I believe you said that's where the notes were and stuff like that.
That was the right.
Okay, the right.
Yep.
You said there was also like kind of an alchemist area. Did you actually like
There's not alchemical supplies. It appears to almost be kind of an alchemical station with sort of drawers with little knobs on them that would disappear into the desk. It has sort of a riser on it where you would theoretically store additional mixing components and things of that nature.
Okay. Echo, is there like a lock?
No.
Here, I'll push you out. Get in there with Al and see if you can find something.
Please.
I'll help them settle down.
Do you know how to open it?
No.
I'll use my shield, my circle of steel shield, to try to help her, like, get in. However, I can assist.
Okay. Yes. And you now see the figure kind of get down on the ground and almost tuck his elbow into the gap and try and almost use his own arm to pry along with your individual pushes. Both of you go ahead and make we'll have both of you make a straight strength roll.
Yeah, and I'll start going through this stuff looking for something that might help.
Any sort of mechanism or anything that
gunpowder.
Investigation checks.
18.
10. So with the hang on, I've totally forgot. All right. With the help of this individual locked into the cage, you're all cranking on these bars, and eventually you see Echo. The crowbar gives way underneath a low anchor point, ripping 4 of the bars off. At that exact same moment, Merritt's shield lurches forward with the rebar no longer supporting it, and a small, sort of foot-wide gap emerges under the tension of this ribboned cage. And you see the individual down on the ground kind of forcing his position to... That's enough! Get them out! Get them out now! And you see immediately people grabbing some of these kids and kind of like passing them through this small gap.
Go down to the bottom of the stairs and
there's almost a crashing
of
of individuals trying to like force themselves through, grabbing on you, pulling on you, trying to fight their own way out. It seems as if a vast majority of the young adults, the kids, are able to maneuver through under some tension. There's still about a dozen adults left in there who the gap is just going to be a little too tight.
17.
17. So, as you're moving through, you do find what appears to be a small blue vial. It almost appears wispy-like glitter floating in liquid. And as you're kind of looking at it, it has a bit of a smoky almost essence, like floating night sky, except for much lighter blue.
Okay.
And that's what we both come across with the 17 in the other?
Well, you're able to scavenge the papers off of the desk. It seems as if there are some broken bottles, a little bit of dampness on the desk that was being worked on, a great many burnt down candles near the side where the figure was originally standing. But nothing else of significant note. There's a couple small straps of leather seemingly hanging on the edge of the desk, but that's all that's in this room. It's relatively narrow. The bulk of this room's size seems to be taken up with this cage.
Is the cave wall by the cage, is there any loose stones that I can dig my sword in and pop out?
You would have to
more
climb up to do that.
No, I'm saying where the doorway is, where we've created the space.
Well, the doorway's away from the wall.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's facing.
Like I said, if this is the wall, it's bent out away from it.
Okay. Renaissar.
Oh.
Get up here, you prick.
Oh, I thought I was gonna die. What's
Okay, we got one last try.
Yeah, this is your thing.
Yeah, I need you to also assist me. I'm fucking poisoned by a plant. Let's do it.
Yeah, alright, okay.
Okay, all you adults, give whatever you can. Give what you can. This gets you out.
Like the old days, right, Merritt?
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
You remember I was never that strong, though, right?
I don't give a shit, neither am I.
Okay.
Do it!
And everybody begins taking one more pull. As you do, 2 sections of rock crack and fall in the inside of the cage. The huddled masses sort of leaning up against the iron bars themselves, the rocks falling behind them. A large sort of chunky section right in the center of the ceiling, the room you're standing in, falls between you. The dust sort of pushing out. At this point in time, anyone who was left inside, scrambling out towards the main entryway.
Fucking push!
Make a strength check, both of y'all.
Oh, she's gone.
Yeah, I'm gone.
Oh, make a strength check.
Fucking do it.
Do you have any looks?
No.
Okay.
I'll give you one from the guy who's still down at bottom here too.
12.
12. So at this point in time, you now see Renisser jump up, grab onto the bars, hanging himself upside down. Dangles from them, puts his feet up, almost kind of like he's standing on a ladder horizontally, and squats and just begins to pull and rip right at the curving apex of the cage. The individual down at the bottom, leveraging again, trying to use his shoulder, pushing his body further in to force it open. Now the shield gives way as it pushes through the gap wide enough for you to fall directly through the interior. Jangling the shield out, you see this flood of individuals immediately pushing out, running past you all.
Down the stairs.
The rocks crumbling directly above you, the ceiling falling down directly by your feet.
I got my shield up above.
And
Kind of
Renisser and
pulling.
this guy down on the ground are just kind of holding on for dear life. What's the plan now?
Okay, you hang on to this. I'm pointing to the guy. Get out.
Renisser, go!
No, I was telling Renisser to have a guy go. Oh, is he telling?
He's telling Renisser.
Okay, look, I don't give a shit. Somebody get the fuck out of here.
All right, Bradford. And you see him swing and kind of do this quick tuck. The bars closing a little bit more as Renisser's leverage gives away, sort of falling himself out in a quick acrobatic maneuver.
Would I fit in the childlike hole?
It'd probably still be a little small for you. You're still a full-grown adult.
Yeah.
And you're wearing sort of robotic armor almost to an extent, so.
I'll bonus action remove Tidbit
Okay.
and try to have Tidbit go through and take the man's place if he can.
So Tidbit immediately falls down off of Elle's form. The tiny sort of homunculus-esque robot emerges. Ouch.
Sorry, go jump on, take that guy's spot so he can get out.
Help, hero.
Yes! Super hero!
Tidbit, hero, help.
Got it.
And you see him moving forward and immediately begins kind of pushing up and finding him sort of wedged in between. Make a strength check for Tidbit.
Bradford, we're gonna get out of here.
Give it.
Oh, missed.
Literally everything that you have.
I hope your little friend here has a little bit left in him.
Well, I
Does
only
my
have a little
look
bit
count
left.
for him?
I'll say so, yeah. You operate on the same roll, so.
I will also try
I fucking believe in you.
whatever I can.
All right, we'll give Tidbit advantage on this then if
Jesus.
Marith is.
Advantage?
We'll give Tidbit advantage if Marith is throwing his last bit of effort into it.
18.
18. So, Tidbit, you see the little tiny robot's arms kind of compacted in. Oops. Look, Tidbit, hero, family. And you see him kind of push up towards the top of the cage, similar to where Renisser was. And as he is wedging himself in between, just creating that almost foot-long kind of gap, you see this pyre begin to emerge directly out from his form as he locks up. The bedroll sort of tent pyre that Elle had set up previously sticking it directly in between the two bars, and you hear this.
I'll reach my hand in.
And as the cave continues to rumble, you actually hear loud rumbling as the entire room you're in almost settles, and the bars attached to the wall curving back pop off almost like they're piano strings, and Tidbit kind of falls to the ground. Ouch. And immediately the individual gets up, grabs your hand. Let's go. And everybody immediately begins pushing outward. Tidbit, reaching out, jumps, and immediately begins curling around Elle's form, snapping on in place, and everybody begins moving out. But at this point, the debris and rumbling cave is beginning to collapse in on itself. Individual items are falling from the roof and ceiling.
My shield up.
Need everyone to roll percentile dice.
Whoa.
Don't like that.
All right.
Hey.
All right.
92.
Whoa. 86.
97.
64.
64. So,
Nice.
yeah, I mean, definitely not bad. There we go. Okay. Okay. As the cave continues to crumble, all of you are sprinting out, dodging falling rocks. Marith, a massive, probably 80-pound rock, comes tumbling down, seemingly about to crush and land on the individual you freed last from the cage. You kind of push forward out of the way, the massive boulder clanging into your shield, rolling off, and you're able to continue to move in stride. You all push towards the mouth of the cave. At this point, you're actually seeing and hearing the roiling pressure of the cave falling in and closing directly behind you. That is when you're all pushing directly at the mouth. Kavini and Echo already nearing the front, feeling a relative sense of safety. Renisser is looking back at you as he's continuing, almost like old times. And a rock smashes him in the head, and he seems to hit the ground, lying there. As you quickly turn around to get a gauge, the cave tunnel is closing in. You'll have but moments to make a choice.
I am.
Scooping up Rannister.
Yeah.
Take the front.
I'm trying to go in for Lizard and Batman.
You're gonna go for Lizard and Batman?
Yeah.
We'll have you make. Are you just gonna try and like pluck and go?
Mm-hmm.
All right, yeah. The flower itself offers little resistance. You know where they are, and you're able to get back there. So you do pluck out these two creatures. Both of you, I need to make a strength check then for shuffling Renisser out.
6.
16.
16. Elle is able to kind of get his shoulders, but you're unable to. The sort of tension of the moment, the fatigue in your muscles from sprinting away, you're unable to get a firm hold and are unable to help as Elle has already begun kind of dragging him towards the door. A choice has to be made.
I'm dragging him with. I wouldn't leave him behind.
You are going to be buried in rubble. You're moving at half speed carrying a body.
Leave him. Leave him! And I'll pull on you to get us out.
All right. As you are moving past, yelling at Elle, grabbing her shoulder and sort of ripping her around, Renisser falls to the ground, the royal chasing you down, falling in directly behind you. And as you kind of just breach the cave wall, the look back is Renisser seems to gain consciousness for a brief moment before the cave closes.
Did I lock eyes with him?
It's up to you how much you wanted to look back there.
I mean, I would have.
I would have been looking back.
I would have.
And the mouth of the cave closes, everybody emerging from the veil of shaded vines that were originally parted.
Just like old times.
Are you okay? Is everyone okay?
Has the roiling stopped?
You're at the mouth of the cave, and other than a very definitive and obvious sense of boulder debris, the cave itself being full now of its own structural integrity, there is no more mouth of the cave.
I'm shaking Marathoth, and I'm going to go back to the cave and start trying to unbury Renaissar. Whatever. I'm trying to dig through it.
Okay.
Hey, that's not.
The canopy itself comprised of rocks that weigh tons on their own. The small pebbles you're able to maneuver seem to give way with relative ease, but the core structure of what obscures Renaissar's form at this moment seems impassable through pure strength.
I'm going to shake you off, and I'm going to take out the pick that's in my pack. I'm going to try to mind pick my way through.
I'll give you 2 of them before I stop you.
You're able to strike the rocks, small chips and flakes, pushing off. But the rock itself is hard, dense, weathered by years of rock, smooth and not as porous as you would hope.
Hand on your shoulder. It's not. What do you think?
I hit off your hands. You left him behind. We could have saved him.
Don't. You don't get to do that.
Okay, that wasn't very nice. We could have saved him. I don't...
And we tried.
We still have to try to get him out. We can't just...
He's fucking dead. It's not what you think.
I don't know what that means.
I know you don't. Leave it be.
I'm gonna try to cast message and see if Renaissar responds.
Okay. You wrap the coil and speak the words. And waiting for a brief moment, you do not get a response.
I'm gonna put the pick in my backpack and storm off wherever everybody else is sitting. Or standing. I don't know. What are the people doing?
They're all kind of still heaving for breath, standing outside the cave trying to... They're kind of doing the almost bewildered after a car accident, kind of just dumbfounded, trying to catch their breath, seemingly looking around at one another, nobody really saying much of anything.
Well, I would have ran out and then, Echo!
Echo!
Oh! I'll come up and give you a big old hug.
Yep, we made it.
Are you
Carrying a bat and a lizard with no
Yeah, let me just come in here. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
We survived. Would I have at any point seen Renaissar?
They would have been too far behind you.
Right, when I was like trying to open the thing though?
Open what thing?
The bars.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was clearly visible in there.
Okay, so I would have known Renaissar was in there.
Well, if you knew who Renaissar was or were looking for him, sure.
I did know who Renaissar was.
She went into the shop.
Oh, that's
And
right.
spoke with him.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you would have known Renaissar was in there once Marith had called his attention.
0 sense to me.
Where's Renaissar?
Are you coming up to where I am? Still up at the rubble.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in there.
Sucks.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Okay.
You just give me a minute.
Yeah. I'm gonna walk away.
I just put my hand on the rock. Nothing. I'll just come down and join them.
Okay. As you're walking away, you get a slight tingle. And again. And 3 words. 3 words you know well from someone you know well. And then silence.
Are any of you guys hurt?
Is everyone okay?
People?
At this point, the human who was helping you, I can't thank you enough.
Bradford is it?
Bradford Hamlin, yeah. I sort of lead these people, kind of.
Are you guys the people from Styrewood?
Yes, we call Styrewood home.
Cool.
What?
Hey, hell of a job in there.
Yeah.
Kind of looks back at the collapsed cave. There's always more to be done. These people are hurt, and if we stay there too long, we're all going to succumb to the hellish rooms.
The hellish
The what?
rooms?
Yeah,
The
vegetation out here isn't super friendly.
Oh, the
Yeah.
creepy bloody mushrooms.
Bradford.
Bradford.
I'm Mr. Cavini.
All right.
The last we left town, there was some unwanted visitors perusing around. So I don't know if maybe you want to leave some of the women and children with some protection, and then we go just make sure the town is safe.
Huh.
You don't want to wander back into more danger, I feel.
Yeah. Chandelar. And you see this woman turn around who's got a sort of large bonnet on and head kind of very acutely covered with this sort of now dirty and sort of lopsided headdress. What do you want? I've had enough. I know. They say we may have had squatters in our absence. All right, give me a sec. And you see her kind of set down a child and pull another one off her shoulders. Oh, you're going to be a good little girl, aren't you? Okay, go over there. And you see someone else kind of grab and pick up the... And she reaches down and plucks up a huge rock. This will do. And you see her begin kind of pushing a little bit faster, picking her heavy shoes up out of the sort of wet mud and charging ahead towards the furnace line. She'll be fine. They don't really do much, and if they do, they're easy enough to scare off. And she's...
You deal with these goblins often?
Oh, they're not very smart. They're not very skilled. They're sort of this pack mentality, sort of like when the mob goes wrong, but only instead of hang the wrong man or chasing a noble out of town, they steal your cups.
Yeah.
So not very vicious in nature at all.
Well, I mean, if you get too close, then you're left unguarded. Sure, definitely, they're dangerous, but Chandelar's had plenty of experience with them and is more than capable, I assure you.
Well, I think they ran off anyways. But...
Is she just going straight to the town, or is she going to where they stay?
There's no point in going to where they stay. A deep, dark cave, I think all of us have had enough of that for the day.
That might be where the stuff from the cart is.
Well, maybe we can...
the cart? Still there?
Yes, that's why we're actually here.
Oh, I guess everything isn't completely lost.
We were sent by Captain Carvars.
Oh. How overdue were we?
3 days.
Oh, that's not too bad. Probably only been there a week then. Look, our people are hungry, tired. Not everyone made it. We got a lot to be sad about and a lot to do, so
yeah, I'm
happy to give you whatever you need in appreciation for your help and assistance, but if you don't mind, I'd like to get headed back to town.
Yes, and I think we would like to help in that. Perhaps just some lodging for the short term?
Whatever isn't turned inside out, you can sleep on. All right. Well, let's get a move on. Make sure you stay close to someone who looks like they know what they're doing. And he begins kind of marching forward, and it seems as if there's almost this kind of like Tuscan Raider line forming in this peak and valley, this worm of people emerging through. You begin walking and pushing forward for, just several hundred yards or so. You finally hit that thick brush where you had originally encountered some of these dangerous spores. The line itself slows a little bit, the gap between people closing to just a few feet, and everybody taking very cautious, measured steps. The occasional hand goes straight up in the air, and then the entirety of the line does a graceful and gentle shift, moving just 10 feet or so in a different direction until you've moved another several hundred feet and have found yourself at forest edge. As you emerge through, the pace quickens, and you see the woman thus far identified as Chandalar approach your location, dropping the rock directly at your feet. No sign of him. All right, Bradford, I'm going to go see what we're dealing with now. Thank you. And Bradford stands there on the forest edge for a brief moment, lingering with you all. I can't thank you all enough. Stay as long as you need. I don't know yet what we have to offer, but whatever we have to offer, you're welcome to. My house is nearest to where I'm almost certain they would have come in, so I'll have a great deal of silverware and cup collecting to do before I'm settled back in again, but please contact me at any time if you see me wandering about, or come to my home if you have other business to tend to first. I'm going to make sure that these people are taken care of best I can in the meantime. Is there anything I can do for you right away?
Yeah, we got hit by the hellish shrooms.
Oh. Afraid not much to do unless you're of the magical persuasion. A good rest will do you wonders, though.
That's what I was hoping.
Yeah, you don't have to sleep it off entirely, but you take a good hour just to pause, catch your breath, you'll find yourself back up and running again as long as you focus on your recovery.
I'll just wait till that time then.
Yeah, it's not overly dangerous unless you have something busy to do. Don't go operating any of the law mill machine here. If you got that poison on you. I'm sorry, I shouldn't make jokes. I gotta go see to the dirty grain as well.
Do you have tidbit?
I'm wearing him.
Okay.
Would we have gone past where they got hit with the hellish rooms?
You walked past it, though it was given a very wide berth.
Would I have been able to go grab the bag of cups and stuff?
You're welcome to risk it if you like.
Yes,
your call.
I left it where we were resting, and there weren't a lot of hellish rooms right there. So, yeah, I would have just gone and done it.
All right, make a survival check.
10.
10. The wood itself, not particularly mysterious or winding, though everything does look the same. Trying to step and navigate around, being very cautious to look out for the shrooms. You almost are headed the wrong direction for a brief moment before eventually catching sight of the dirty burlap orange-sized bag, snatching it from the ground and finding relatively safe navigation back to the edge of the forest, slightly deeper east than where it seems everyone else came out.
I would have handed that then to Bradford.
Okay. Well, this will get us going, I guess. Thank you.
Yep.
Bradford, you do me a favor and talk with me for a second?
The least I can do is offer you a little time. Sure, what's on your mind?
I'll pull him away from everybody. Can you tell me where Renaissance's shop was?
Yeah, right over here.
Yeah.
And he kind of begins walking. Well, my first order of business, if he had anything left that could help the town out now and make good on his direct support to us all the other time he was here, I feel like now would be a more important time than ever. And he continues walking through about the midway point of town. He takes a slight left just to the second outer edge. And there's kind of a shop that almost appears to have a designed tilt, a solid and straight foundation base that almost kind of has an angular curve, though the wood itself only lends itself to a more rounded appearance. The steepled roof almost appears as if it's flat on top and would catch rain rather than have it sort of divert off due to the massive skew of the general location. And don't get disoriented, okay? And he opens the front door by kind of pulling on the hatch, stepping inside. Just 1 second. And he shuts the door behind him. Go ahead.
I don't know. Do I have to open the door the way that he
Yeah,
did?
so you open the door. It almost feels like you'd be walking on the side wall of this place.
Okay.
And you kind of step in. And as you touch ground, Bradford's there staring directly at you. And now it almost seems as if everything is kind of right side up again.
Close the door. I know you don't have to explain anything to me.
He liked magic. He just was never very good at it and liked having fun.
Yeah. He's a bastard, but one of my oldest friends.
A good hunter.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your loss. He meant a great deal to Styrewood. He was a pillar of a lot of the things we did around here.
Yeah, that's fine. If you don't mind, I would like to look to see if there's anything that I recognize in here. I'm not going to take from your people, but I was coming here to see him.
Sure. I thought y'all were here for the medicine shipment?
Yeah, that too, which I also want to ask you about. So there was a back part of the cart that looked like it had been smashed open.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what was back there?
That arrived on the transport. That wasn't our doing. We just filled the medicine. They had some kind of important thing destined for the Silver Spire. I don't know.
Who did?
The circle.
So the transport came from somewhere else, got to you, you filled it up with medicine.
Yeah, usually they run down the jewel spar, and then once we've got it loaded up with all of its precious goods, they throw it on the boat, send it on down the river, and they undock somewhere near Torgos and ride it into town, I think. I don't talk to them much. They're not very chatty.
No, they're not. So when it landed here in Styrewood, that was already open in the back? Or something was already...
Styrewood.
Yeah.
No, they had a heavily armed circle of steel guard riding topside, 2 guards pushing the front, and a number of locks and bolts on that thing. I didn't think anything was going to open that short of a key that was meant to, so...
Yeah. Well, goblins sure as hell didn't do it.
Enough hacks on anything, I guess, might open it up, but...
Maybe. What happened to you guys? How did you end up in that cave?
I'm not 100% sure. There's a young lad running around town here, Remy. He went missing. Not unusual, wooded area, creatures. We feared the worst, but of course, we're going to look after our own, sent out a search party. People came back saying they were spotting weird things, kept talking people to look at it and go check it out. And I'm not even sure. All of us had slightly similar stories, different faces. We were told to come out. Remy was found. He needed help. Come help. Of course, we came running. Drawn out there, and Nothing. Woke up in some kind of trash excuse for craftsmanship, but effective nonetheless. I'm not sure I can tell you exactly how it happened. I'm sorry, you'll have to tell your supervisor, your captain, that there's not anything I think I could have done different, and we'll make sure we're pressed to maximum tilt to make sure that medicine shipment is replenished, whatever it takes. Double time, and we'll get it done in half the time. Just impress upon them that the circumstances were rather dire, and it's not us giving up on our fulfillment obligations. So
no, it won't be anything like that. We'll take the cart back to Torgos, explain the situation, and they'll contact you if they need any more medicine. Listen, I want you to know that what you did today for your people was...
they're not my people. They look to me. They ask me questions when things get hectic. They want my approval when things need to be done. But I don't assume any kind of leadership position over these folk. These are my cohorts and my friends and my fellow neighbors, and we keep Styrewood safe together. I just
want you to know that you did right by your friends.
Not all of them.
It's okay, you can't be there for everybody.
Well, there are some people who are missing everybody a whole lot more than I am right now. So I'm going to leave you to poke around. I have some things to tend to, if that's all right.
Yeah. Do me a favor. Just have whoever would normally stock the cart come take a look at the cart and see what's missing, so we can bring a detailed list of what's missing and needs replenishment to the circle. We'll explain the situation.
Yeah, I'll have someone stand by waiting for it as long as it's not too long.
Yeah. Also, we need to get the cart. You gotta have some people help us with that horse out there.
Oh yeah, I suppose that probably makes sense, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll leave you to it. You've got a lot.
Yeah, I'll make sure I see you as much as possible. You and your friends. Yeah.
Doesn't need to happen right now, but we'd like to leave in the morning to get back and not be not on the bad side of the circle of steel, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know all too well. Sorry again about your friend.
Likewise.
Opens the door, and then you see him kind of like step and turn horizontal as he steps outside, and you see the door close behind you.
All right, I'll just look behind the counter or anywhere that he would put, I don't know, his normal, stash bags or anything that he would be known to kind of put to the side.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation check for me as you're scrounging through.
No. 4.
Nothing seems particularly well hidden, but also nothing stands out to you other than standard staple merchandise. There is some rudimentary arrows that you're able to come across. It seems a small shock of them in a quiver next to a relatively straightforward looking bow, probably rudimentary hunting implements. There's a number of leather straps and what appear to be some fabrication tools, claw hammers and small mallets and pinching pliers and things like that. There's a number of scattered sort of rations and organized containers, if you will, some in various states of decompose, some seemingly kept a little bit more fresh. and as well as a number of tubs sealed in wax that are likely storing similar materials. And there's also like a collection, probably what you would almost describe as like a closet, though it seems to have full outfits, a shirt draped over a hanger-like implement, more so just kind of a dwindle stick that hangs down and curls over a rod. But from that, pants appear secured to the base of the shirt, as well as, strapping or securements or whatever else. Almost full outfits kind of on hangers in sections.
I think I'll leave everything else, everything that's not his. Is there any like journals or notebooks or anything that's out? Obviously, with the 4.
Not that you found.
Yeah, that's fine. Then I'll just take like a cool outfit and leave the rest in there for them to sell or divvy up again amongst the people.
Well, one stands out as being sort of uniquely familiar as you're scouting through, paying specific attention to the outfits. There's one that sort of catches your eye. Almost kind of a shimmery white, but the shimmer itself is a bit of a pearlescent blue. Not overt, not glistening, but almost kind of a opalesque type material. Nice, but somewhat coarse. Probably not anything in the way of fancy or particularly unique, other than the fact that its sheen and overall presentation highly recognizable, reminding you from his sort of overall glass fatigues, and the memory now associated seems to be this is, at least this one for sure, strikes you as being Renaissance.
Alright, I'll take that and leave everything else and then step out.
Okay.
And I'll just catch up with them.
Okay. What are you guys doing during this time?
I'd have been trying to find someone who could magically send a message from far away.
Okay. Make an investigation check.
21.
Oof. So, pushing around, you do end up discovering that there are a couple people that have rudimentary arcane abilities, but they seem to be more honed towards the druidic arts and appear almost as if they weren't naturally possessed and were very sort of crudely applied. It's not a natural magic. It almost seems as if it's a learned magic, but because it's not sort of that natural druidic essence, it seems as if it's substantially underpowered. And it's quickly given to you to understand that this is largely used for help in implementing with refinement of ingredients or the agriculture that they have to do nearby or things of that nature, but no one seems to possess inherent or spell-based arcane ability here.
I would have gone to work on the cart, I think.
Okay. Well, as you are pushing up, it's very easy to find, and it's not too long before you see a larger individual wearing kind of these big overalls, a shirt that was kind of buttoned in a couple places, and now it seems as if it's torn open, a flap kind of hanging down. This big, almost Santa-like brown beard kind of has a unique almost point to it at the end of it, and has like a full swept, almost flock of seagulls type of thing, but probably more from being unkempt and running and sweating. And big old chubby cheeks. I was told you might need a hand.
I do. You look perfect to help.
Thank you. I'd like to help if I can.
Yes, please.
Sure. And he reaches down and rips the cart up. As he is pulling it back in a way, the bridle piece snaps in his hand. Oh, sorry.
I want to say I went to go help him, and it was like I almost fell over.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'll do it better.
No, you did it perfect. Thank you.
That's what you wanted me to do?
No, but I'm not mad that that's what happened. Because you got it up. We couldn't do that.
Yeah, well, any results are the best results on a good day. So, that makes some good results.
It does. Echo.
Oh. Elise?
Elise?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Do you need more perfect, or just the littlest bit of perfect I could offer you? Because if you're in need of more perfect, I have this hand too.
Do you know how to like hook horses back up to this?
Oh, I've seen it done. Yeah, you sort of take the stick, and the stick is attached to like a little strap thing, and the strap goes to another stick, and then you plop it on. Like
okay. When Meredith gets back, I think he's gonna need your help, but
I don't know him, but I'd like to help him too.
Because I don't know how to hook this up, but I think Meredith does.
Oh, like I told you, it's just a little strap that goes from one stick. And if you take the strap and you put it on the other stick, then you just do that, like a little shirt, but it's like for a horse, and it doesn't cover its whole body.
Nail
I
it.
like him.
So, do you need this hand?
When Meredith gets here.
All right, I'll just wait for him then, I guess.
Are you hungry?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could eat. You know, I'm kind of hungry too. I don't really know. I left, I think, some food nearby. Maybe.
Like before you were down in the cave?
Oh, maybe there was food in there too. I
No.
don't know.
I don't think there was.
Well, maybe. I can't say. I don't know. I didn't look for food while I was in there. I was rather scared.
Yeah. Okay, why don't you just leave this here for right now? You can just set it down gently.
Oh, the thing already broke and fell. So he's just holding his hand up.
Okay. You can put your hand up.
Oh.
Why don't you go get some food, and when Meredith gets back, we'll hitch our horses.
Well, Bradford told me to wait with the cart. He said your little camaraderie soiree of people was gonna need some assistance, so I wanted to make sure that I did what I could do for the people of Styrewood.
We'll just hang out at the cart, okay? I'm gonna hang out and watch the cart with you, okay?
Well, sure. I don't think it's going anywhere, but I can help.
Look, I'm trying to avoid anyone coming and like taking more stuff from the cart.
Oh, I wouldn't do that.
I know you wouldn't, but just in case. So I was gonna watch the cart.
Well, if Bradford says it's okay for people to take some stuff, I suppose they could. But if he doesn't, then I would think probably not, though. So if you just need me to watch the car, I can do that.
Well, okay. Let's just hang out and watch the cart together.
Sure. Company's always good.
Mm-hmm.
Company makes any day better.
Kavini!
It's got a little half walker in him.
Yeah. How do you spell his name?
It is Elisse.
Elise.
Hmm?
Kavini, this is Elise. He's gonna help us.
Hi.
He's gonna help us watch the cart.
Is it time?
No.
Oh, hello.
Elise?
And he's probably like 6'5".
Yeah.
Wow. You
Echo.
have excellent clothes.
Yeah, right here.
Your clothes are made of fabrics.
These are all true.
Fabrics make every clothes better.
Tremendous.
We're
Echo.
watching the cart. If you want to help us, it's right here.
Yes? This doesn't seem like an area of my expertise.
Is this a game?
Yup.
We just look at each other.
Yup.
I've never seen
You
you,
know
like
what,
this,
Elise?
Echo.
Huh?
I've never seen you like this.
No. Elise? Can you maybe go see if you can find some food?
Well, I might be able to. Most days I can.
Awesome.
Bradford told me to wait by the cart.
Okay. That's cool.
Okay.
I'm just waiting to show up.
Question, because there were some priorities for me.
Yep.
Coming out of the cave, how are my bat and my little lizard guy doing? Are they alive? Are they dead? Are they...
What is your passive perception?
Level 2.
Well, I will caveat this with I would be actively checking on them. 12.
I'll let you roll a perception check if you wanted to make that your
And I'm more interested in the lizard because I know I saw some sort of movement on that plan.
Okay. You didn't do anything else, I think, on the way back, so you could have used your time running back to focus on them.
Yeah, and I don't know what the dynamic is here, too, so I would have tucked them in just to make sure that they're not, like... It's not something that's going to trigger some sort of fright in the people.
Okay, sure.
You said perception?
Yep, you make a perception check.
Can we go with the passive?
What'd you roll?
5.
5. So as you are running, trying to kind of get a gauge to see if they're responding at all, they're being sort of jostled, and you're not really able to make any clean sort of connection to anything as you're sprinting out. Eventually the pace has settled. Everybody's kind of gathering themselves, and as you pull them out again to kind of take a glance to see what you can identify, this large bat creature, seemingly lifeless, as you try to pull its form out. Not particularly heavy or girthy, but you pull it out and it seems limp and frail. The silver ball no longer in its mouth.
The lizard or the bat?
Either.
Then I would when we got back to town, I would ask Bradford if there was a place I could just kind of have some privacy for a moment.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna be doing a little run around for a while, seeing to things, and I promise I'll do my absolute best not to disturb anything. But if you'd like, you can just stay in my home for the time being.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
It's probably not what you're used to, gauging from your robes and clear intelligence, but if you're looking for a comfy place to take a breather, I promise you my bed is welcome.
Oh, well, thank you. Just either point the way or, we can walk and talk.
Sure. Yeah. Shanda, can you show this individual to my quarters? He's a bit weary after today and wants to just take a moment. She kind of looks at you.
Mr. Cavini.
Of course. Mr. Cavini, if you would just, come on. And she turns around and begins walking away towards the entrance, or the front end of where you would have come in town.
Okay, then the only thing I wanted to do is I wanted to ritually cast on the bat and the lizard, and then I'll meet back up with...
Ritually casting...
identify.
Comes back as a bat, and what appears to be some sort of wildly exotic or not indigenous to these forests, at least. What appears to be a large iguana, but they don't identify or come back as anything inherently magical. There is nothing detail-oriented about your identification, and they seem to be just mundane creatures.
Okay.
All of your magic revealing no additional information.
Then I would have left those two in his home and just around the dinner table there. Ooh. And joined Echo at the cart.
Okay. Oh, he's back.
He's back.
No, that would have been my first action stuff.
Yeah.
So
good to meet you.
Yeah.
Alright, Lisa, what do you want to do while we're hanging out at this cart waiting to hook our horses up?
Oh, well, we were watching it, so...
Echo, why can't... he seems fully capable.
Oh, he's real, yeah.
Well, yeah, what you do is you take one of the sticks, okay, and you attach a strap to it. And you take that strap and then you attach it to another stick, and then you just set it on the horse like it's a little shirt, but it doesn't cover its whole body.
Pretty straightforward.
Yep.
I think I could do that.
Yeah.
Marith makes it seem so much harder than that.
Yeah, they have me do a lot of the mundane kind of things around here, so I'm told, which clearly set out for important endeavors.
I think we can do this, Echo. Let's go get our horses.
You all have horses?
Yeah,
too?
and a cart.
Oh, that's going to make this a breeze. We'll just take the straps from this, put them on your straps, take the straps that you have on your straps, throw them on your horse, and then Bob's your nephew's uncle's cousin that's in the forest.
Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to wash the cart, though.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go get our cart and horses.
I feel like we can do this. And
oh, I have every faith. If any two people could do it, especially after a day like today where you sort of came in there and you created a heroic circumstance, it's got to be you two.
I just... Yep.
Right.
I'm, a lot of people from Styrewood, or around Styrewood, talk in confusing ways.
Oh, well, I have focused on my vocabulary, and I can't help but feel like maybe you have sort of this city breeze that doesn't quite translate to the articulated diction of the humble people of the forest. And that's no criticism on you there, Mr. Cavallari, but I can't help but feel I'm simply trying to do my best to communicate a generalized sense of idea to you. And if we're not communicating effectively, I will apologize for that. Largely because I feel very rudimentary right now.
Elise.
Yeah. Well, there was another one for a second. We're already talking, so
I'm not quite sure how to respond to that, and that's the second time I've said that today.
Well, I don't know how many people from Styrewood that you have met.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, you got away with
5,
what appears
6.
to be
just 4.
At least 5/7 of our people without getting a two-man dibble.
Very, very small time. Well, I've exhausted my brain power on this one. I think I'm going to go try to retrieve the other horses.
Just keep at it, Mr. Cavallari. You'll find more brain out there. I believe in you.
Yeah. Do you want to go get the horses? I'm going to hang out here with Elise.
Oh.
Yep.
This is great. Just having people all around. Losing people's not great. That's kind of a bummer. But new people being here, well, they're not really balanced either. If I have to masticate my thoughts to you, it would probably be something in the vein of sad.
I don't like sad.
Yeah.
Show up so bad.
Yeah, this is a relatively like we went over. It's a couple block town kind of thing.
Yeah, it's probably just under half a mile and it's full.
I'm gonna start walking towards the horses, but I'm just gonna be called Mr. Marith. Mr. Marith.
Well, you eventually are walking now up from northern in the town, heading towards the cart, with Kavini just heading down out south of the exit of the town towards the horses. But you do eventually ride to see Echo waiting on the edge of the cart with a rather large, robust-looking individual. And then what are you doing for this period of time?
I was just looking for someone who can do sending, and when
you
nobody
did not
was,
find any.
I would have headed to the cart.
With your check, you actually arrive just before Marith does to the cart. So you all convene around this immediate area, with Kavini eventually being sort of waved back when he realizes that everybody is behind him, if he so wishes.
Oh, you guys already got the cart all fixed.
Elise did it.
Hey,
Oh, hi.
great job.
Well, the cart is still tipped over. He just picked it up and the rod snapped in his hand.
But so it's not connected to the horse anymore, though.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
And the whole cart is tipped?
Yep.
Oh.
It always has been.
Hey,
I don't
look,
remember that.
Yeah.
You look
My memory is terrible.
mighty strong. You think you could pull this horse out of here?
I mean, I could, maybe, but it sort of seems like it's really intent on lying where it's at.
Yeah, it's dead.
Oh, yeah, that was my first clue.
Yeah.
My second clue was also the one time I got kicked by a horse that was laying down. You wouldn't think it'd be able to do it, but it'll throw that back leg out there quicker than you can say lightning.
Oh, I bet. Do you want to do me a favor and see if you can just pull this horse out of here from the front so you don't get kicked? If it isn't dead, as it clearly is.
Oh, I see. You're one of those Kashaberry individuals where you want to make sure that you have a gesticulate of your environments.
That's right.
What?
Yep.
He bends down, grabs onto the horse, pulls on the horse by the sort of reins and bit, and the back half of the horse just kind of gets left. This ain't so heavy. Oh, I only took 18% of it.
Maybe there's a cart or something we can put it on so that...
Well, I don't think it's kicking anymore, and we'll see if something isn't salvageable.
Yeah, you
from
got this. I'll head towards Kabini.
Do you want some help?
I don't know.
I'm supposed to help you. I don't know.
Let's pull the other half.
That's odd, man.
Yes.
Where do you have it?
I was gonna go get the horses.
Oh, I'll join you.
Oh. All right. You know. Oh, okay. I think you're fully capable of doing it yourself, but because this is what you do. I was just trying to assist and do what you do because you were off doing something else.
All right. Do you want to join me?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. All right.
Hey, you did good back in the cave in the fight.
Thank you. You certainly knew how to jump in, and there's you've deconstructed a lot of my thoughts about soldiers of the Circle of Steel. I know you weren't a soldier per se, but you have a real honor to you.
So do you.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. I like I don't know necessarily. I went a long time without caring about talking to people.
I've noticed. Yeah.
Yeah. But on just the.
I feel like you and Echo have some things in common.
Yeah. That's true. If you have a way with fire, is that? I don't know if that's on purpose or.
Not really. It's I haven't always been in the cities, and you have to learn some defensive spells.
Yeah.
That just seems to be a rather common one. But no, I don't know if you're intrigued by that per se. But I hate to shut you down and say I don't really have anything more to offer in that department.
No, that was it. I just didn't know if that was kind of if that was your thing, or if that was just your.
No, it's just it's just a rather basic spell I learned a long time ago.
I'm just trying to get more, I guess, understanding of you without asking you what's up, and I didn't know if fire was your go-to and when things get a little crazy, or if that was just your quick brain, using fire against a wooden thing, right?
No, it's more of the, it's literally the only harming thing I know. I don't deal in combat very much.
Yeah. I also want it to be known that I appreciate you coming back and helping, and not just.
Well, I wasn't just gonna leave everyone, but I will say.
I mean, it sounded like it.
No, I'm just as we've kind of gone over.
Even Louise knew that. Okay.
I'm not very much meant for confrontation. But I'm not gonna leave anyone behind. As I told you before, there's a sanctity to life. In all forms. And I understand that there's mistakes that get made and things that we're not capable of that we wish we were, but I do believe in the preservation of life. And I would never leave any of you with the little amount of ability that I have. I would still stay.
Well, it's commendable. And I would like you to know that I also would do that.
I very much get that sense. Now, would you like to show me how to rein the horse in?
Yeah, actually. I think this will
He's just like sitting there.
Alright, well, do horse
Do the horse stuff.
Do horse stuff.
Horse
Yeah.
stuff.
You know, we'll get them circled around and back on the road to lead them up.
Are you gonna ghost pop me?
So you do have a travel cart still attached to the horses. You're able to guide
we don't
them up.
own that cart, so that cart's got to come with us.
Yeah, we're gonna have the Beverly Hills Hillbillies that cart on top of the other cart or something. But yeah, you're able to work the horses back around, bring it up towards the cart that is still kind of tipped over, broken in a number of different places on its securing facets. And are you...
Well, does our cart look like it can be... Or the Circle of Steel cart, that was just a single horse-led cart, correct?
Well, they were using a war horse.
Balls. Does it look like our regular-ass horse could take the cart if we went slow?
Two.
We have two.
Toaster and strudel.
Yes.
I know. Okay, does it look
But we
like
need, like-
Toaster or Strudel could carry this cart?
It would look like if one were extremely well attuned with their visual acuity, a war horse would be 60% more likely than your horse to pull it. But two of them, maybe I just wouldn't push them too hard. Like,
All right.
depending on how statistical you want to get.
No, Meredith isn't statistical. We can figure out a way to strap this cart, you know, maybe we could tow it with the.
Well, it's easy. Like I said, you take the rod and you attach a strap to it, and then you attach that strap to the other rod, and then you just sort of set that on the horse gently, like a shirt that doesn't cover nothing.
Like a vest.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a 3/4 shirt. It's like a shirt that has something missing in the middle. Like a strip missing in the middle.
I didn't know that's what you city folk called this. I'm wearing a vest.
No, that's overalls.
I'm in a dream.
No, he's wearing a shirt, but it's tore open.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
These are overalls.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, because it's supposed to cover overall your body.
Oh. Well, you'll see that my garment is a little bit distraught right now. I can't help but feel a little less than presentable right now. So hopefully you understand me not calling attention to it, and you fine city folk. I'm just here to try and help at Bradford's request.
Hey, do you have any of the bars and the shirts that don't cover anything for this, so we can hook our horses up to this cart?
Oh, no.
All right. What?
Well, they were going to take all of this stuff to a boat and ship it. Why don't we see if the ship is here and ship both carts and horses and all that on whatever the boat is, depending on how big it is, instead of trying to drive
travel
carts.
a bit of a ways if you want to try that. Sure, I guess.
Do you know how big of a boat they were gonna put all this stuff on?
Oh, I live here in Styrewood. I'm not a sailor.
Well, I mean, it's all in boxes, correct? All of
It's all in the drawers.
It's in drawers, yeah, like
But
stacked drawers.
we could just transfer them.
To the cart?
But honestly, I'm not sure.
I'll be careful though. They said that it's volumite material.
Oh.
So
Hey, you've done a great job.
well, thanks. I appreciate you saying so. It's just so great to have you people here, just helping out. Goodness of your hearts filled up so much that you're expelling out all of this heroic energy.
That's right.
I like you. I'm gonna high five his hand before she does that.
So as you reach up and hit his hand, no touch! And you see him instinctively reach out and throw a flinch punch.
That's fair. I didn't ask for consent.
That's going to be a 17.
To hit?
Yep.
That hits me.
How much health do you got left?
I've got 8. And if it's bludgeoning, I can put it towards Tidbit at least. Who's got 10?
Where is...
I mean, I don't think he's gonna do 18 damage, so.
Here's hoping.
5 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Like,
As this
right on the bridge of the nose.
just immediately flies across and he socks you. And you see Elle's whole body kind of do the cartoon 360.
I am so sorry. Ah.
Hey, you've done a great job here. What's this? What is this man's name? Elise, why don't you do us a favor and just go home?
No, that's no. He's fine. He's helping protect the cart.
I'm sorry. I didn't... Yeah, I could... I'm sorry. Sometimes I
Elise.
just get a little angry. And I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to.
You are okay. I moved at you with a hand. I apologize for startling you.
It was an instinctual P-flex. I couldn't stop from happening.
I understand that. I am sorry. May I
I'm sorry.
slowly shake your hand instead of high-fiving?
Well, sure. Let me medicine your face first, though, because I feel like...
Yeah, please.
Meta what?
He, like, pokes the bridge of your nose and slaps it with his finger a couple times. Fixed.
Thank you. That was very nice of you.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry again.
It's
I didn't mean to do that.
yeah, it's my fault, really.
Oh.
I am okay.
Oh.
Will you help me tip this cart right side up?
Oh, sure.
Should we remove the drawers at all before we do that?
Well,
Well, it's not, unless you're gonna tip it over.
Well, it's tipped on its side right now,
Not
correct?
tipped on its side,
Yeah.
is it?
yeah.
It's tipped at an angle.
I thought it was right side up too.
Yeah, and
when
that's
we
why
left it,
the
but
thing was like laying down, remember, and we were trying to like get it up.
I thought it
before.
was like
No, I
mostly
thought-
right side up, but
That's
the arms were stuck underneath the horse. But the cart itself was on both its wheels.
Cart's tipped.
Now it's tipped.
I mean, I like
This
your idea.
Said the drawers or the medicine is volatile.
Volumite.
Volumite.
Yes.
Yeah, why don't you two,
Well-
can you actually join me
Well,
or something?
I mean, yes.
If you do too much, shaking or jospin about, all of a sudden it can lose its epilepsy.
So why don't the 3 of us do a really careful job picking up the cart, and those 2 are going to go talk.
Well, I was just thinking about this. I do like your idea about going and checking out the boat. Because I feel like the water is going to be a smoother
Smoother,
travel. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that makes sense why they would bring
Take
it
it
that
that
way. But I kind of fear going and checking out any new places today.
That's fair.
Until I get a long rest.
That sounds good.
I mean,
We can ask how far away it is, talk to Bradford. You might have more info.
Bradford knows everything and everyone. He could point you in the right direction.
that and I think we're making good time.
I agree.
Well, it just keeps going. You don't make it. They just give it to you.
Yep.
That's true.
And there's no point in not taking the time to see what happened here.
I don't get to take it really either, friend. Your city ways. I'm sorry. I'm just used to this humble living where we focus on school and the earth around us. I'm going to give you guys a minute. Let's just make sure we get this propped up proper-like.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Should we remove the medicine roll first, or just go for it?
Well, he leans over, gets down, and you see him pushing it. You see, the thing about these kinds of things is it just continues pushing it up, and with one hand sort of throws it upright before it. Oh, my. All right, well, I'll...
That was an excellent job. Shaking your hand.
Well, you look like you're holding yours out.
Yes, to shake your hand.
You want to shake my hand.
I would like to shake your hand, if that is okay.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Thank you.
He's definitely got like a crushing grip.
That's fine. That was awesome.
All right, the cart is turned right side up. What would you guys like to do?
Let's go find Bradford.
Or we could go check out the dock area. I don't know how far it is. How far is the dock?
Oh, well, if you count to 11.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That direction, and then you count to, I don't know, there's a bundle of sticks that's usually there. And then I think, like I said, I'm not really a sailor or a pirate or anything sort of like that. Some of those seafaring types of folks, you know what I mean? I don't know what ferries have to do with water anyway, but the general consentment is that I'm not meant for large aquatized vehicles.
Makes sense.
I thought so.
Vinny?
Yeah.
We'll catch back up with you guys in
I'm not a fan.
5
I'm sorry.
minutes.
People
Okay.
keep saying I'm like made of rocks, so if I went into the water, I'd probably just.
That makes sense.
Bradford said we could stay at his place. It's just right over there. I don't know if we want to.
Oh yeah, nice place.
Maybe just I'll meet up and just
Right-
kind of
Right over there.
reflect.
Yeah, let's meet up there. Do you guys want to head there and get our stuff figured out?
Head there right now? What are we doing with the horses? And the cart?
We gotta hook the horses up to the cart, or otherwise they might just like take off.
Well, you just take a strap and you secure it to the rod, and then you take that strap
And
and
I'm
you
gonna start walking away.
Just in a dream.
put it like a shirt that doesn't cover it.
Looks like you got it covered, Elise.
You got this.
Yeah. Of course, right away. Okay, you just take the strap.
I'm
And you
staying.
walk away.
Yeah,
and
me
he's-
too.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not-
He's going through the process of trying to figure out and coordinate the.
I feel like you
Natural
inspired
20?
him.
Is that a natural 20 for Elise or a natural 1?
It's
Oh,
not
no.
a natural 20.
Oh no.
So, as he is going through the process of
Did we buy the horses?
Yeah. Well, we
Okay.
rented them.
attaching the strap to the first post, I think the trick is to make it nice and tawdry. So if you put it on top of the horse, it sort of rides on it like a little gallopy gazebo, like a forest creature. So you have to make sure it's super tawdry. And he goes through and he's trying to connect the two pieces together. The hook that he latches into on the other side snaps. The strap slaps out and hits the horse directly in the ass, and you hear this, and the horse goes taking off into the forest.
I go after.
Oh,
it.
Was it toaster or was it strudel?
I don't know.
I'm going to cast.
I'm sorry. I think it just wanted to be with his friend. It might come back even.
I'm going to, as soon as the horse starts taking off, cast Minor Illusion in front of the horse.
Okay.
To try and startle it to come back towards us.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
the horse taking off full speed away from us.
Sure. What's your spell save though?
13.
So, yeah, I'm gonna say you see that the horse gallop and charge directly through it.
Okay.
Oh, and immediately it continues on. Natural 17, and even at, yeah. So the horse, at this point, you see disappearing into the forest line south of Styrewood.
One horse. One horse will be fine.
No.
I would have gone after it.
I don't think L runs faster than a horse.
No, but that's either toaster or strudel. They're my homies, you know?
I can't help but feel partly responsible to this.
You know what?
You know, Elise, you've had a very trying day.
Oh, I did it. I mean, you don't really have to do all that much work. You
just watching the horse, just
horse galloping away.
You know, at least your day has been stressful, I think is what he's trying to say.
Yep.
Well, that's true.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you did not mean to send the horse running south.
I would have told it to just sit and relax and enjoy the beautiful weather, especially after
just watching it.
a cantankerous event that we went through. So
yeah,
if it had heeded my instructions,
right,
I can't help but feel like it would be seated here beside us.
Yep. So why don't you and I just hang out here? We'll let this this horse will hang out until Meredith can hook it up.
Well, it's really easy.
No, Elise.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you and I just hang out and chit-chat and play some games?
Oh, yeah, I could do with more friends.
Yeah.
That's great.
DM, how much do I think a horse is?
How much do you think a horse is?
To buy it.
A normal road horse like that, probably 15 gold.
Okay.
Well, running after toaster and or strudel. I'm going to say this one's strudel. Can I point at it and cast message? Be like...
It's out of 120 feet at this point.
Well, I would have done it as soon as I was running. That's fine. I'm going to keep trying to find it until...
So you're disappearing into the wood.
I will go 10 feet into the wood and then just start calling for strudel.
Make an animal handling check.
Does it know its name is Strudel?
And she said it a few times. Mike. I don't think so.
10.
10.
It's like 15 large gold pieces running.
Like in cartoons when people turn into food when they're hungry.
Yeah.
It's just a gold galloping.
Yeah.
So Elle is yelling strudel in the forest.
Yeah.
What are the rest of you doing?
I'm hanging out with Elise.
Okay. He seems content to hang out as well. You guys doing anything?
Can you step over here with me for a minute?
Yeah.
You said yeah, but you were shaking your head no.
It's like I am trying to give you some sort of recognition that I am acknowledging what you were saying.
By shaking your head no?
No.
Do you realize that you shook your head no and said yes at the same time?
Meredith, it has been a long day.
We've been up for 3.5 hours.
Oh my god, that's perfect!
His honesty has been much longer.
Oh my god.
How can I help you, Mr. Mayor?
With your, we're away from Elise and Echo.
We're away from Elise.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Elise?
Nothing.
I think Elise and I are like playing like hand games.
You're
I would not recommend it.
see
you're gonna
that.
get sucked in the
Stop
face.
that right away.
You don't want Elise rolling charisma, I promise you.
The last time he high-fived someone got a punch. That whole game is high fives.
Yeah. A game of punches.
I'm gonna work with him on how to make it parry.
All right.
Sure.
There's so you know the soldier that we found?
I mean,
the dead one.
yeah, I saw him.
It was a woman elf, right?
A female elf,
Yeah.
Circle of Steel, yep.
Did you?
It was a woman.
Did you know her?
No, but I would like to talk to her tonight.
I mean, not outside of the realm of things I've heard of. Okay, why are you telling me?
Because I would like someone there. And with your,
Marith, I have no problem accompanying you. I would just ask that if there's something you specifically need from me, you just ask it.
I would. I don't need anything from you specifically.
Okay. I just didn't know.
Oh. You just seem to appreciate life more than Echo, who was around the last time I did it. At least she's never stated to me that she's a proponent of life like you have.
Echo is I don't know actually yet, but I do believe she has a good heart.
It's there. I think it's behind her hurt eyes, but...
And Elle, have you done these things in front of Elle?
No. She has too many damn questions.
I just so you're aware, it seems like you might want to keep this from Elle, and you're asking me to go instead of Echo. I bring this up because if either of them ask me, I feel inclined to not lie to them.
I'm not asking you to lie.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm not asking you to lie. You don't have to come if you feel any certain way about it.
No.
I don't need you there for...
Marith, I would like to join you. We don't know each other, and I'm just trying to understand what the ground rules are.
Yeah, there is no ground rules. Ground rules are you and I are going to go, and I'm going to talk to a dead person. If that makes you uncomfortable, then you don't have to come with. There's no additional questions. I'm going to ask simple questions to a corpse.
It doesn't make me uncomfortable. I will join you.
Okay.
I thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Do we have to wait till midnight or?
I'd rather do it at night when nobody can walk by and see me talking to an animated
Well, you might have to wake me up because I like to go to bed early, so you can just.
That's fine, I'll wake you up.
Okay.
Yeah, keep him solid. That cold air up north is gonna hurt his joints.
Where's my fish oil?
Right. So, Echo and Elise begin patty caking. And by the time you finish your conversation and sort of made your way roundabout to that general location, it seems as if he's getting the hang of it, though Echo's form is already showing the soreness from bracing in her delts to try and just absorb some of the static impact. Elle is nearby, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm calling for squirrel.
Yeah. Sort of wandering around the woods. And we'll say for the sake of brevity at this point, finally admits her defeat. And moseys back to the cart as you all convene in the centralized location. Cart now standing upright, strap and cradle attached with no horse yet underneath, but ready to go whenever you are ready to make that be the case. With a Styrewood that is working through the process of tending to people and kind of straightening up what is now a ransacked city from a very bunch of disorganized and poor prioritizing goblins. And that is where we will leave it tonight.
I want to play forever.
We will pick up right where we left off next week, Friday, 7 p.m. And also, J. Durst, don't think you finna sneak away, okay, for that subscription. Good look on that.
Nice.
Huge shots. That's blocka blocka for
Like a block.
KJ throwing the gift subs, right? Shoo Miwa.
Ashumiwa.
Ashumiwa. We're also throwing the gift subs. For everybody who was spending more time with us on a continual basis. Did y'all know KJ's up to 5 months total? That's it.
Damn. But what is how much?
That's
How long
it.
is that?
But
in
also
Canadian?
already 5.
Right? It's like already 5, but it also feels like 12. What's up?
How many maple leaves is that?
Forever.
I think that's just one.
Here's
Boxing
one
days
out of
is
maple
that.
leaf.
One full
It's like
maples?
inverted dog years -2. Hey, you guys have been fantastic. Oh, and Ward with the bits for the finish. What's up? Yes. Hey, you guys have
Thanks,
been
Chester.
fantastic. You've been so wonderful. You've been so lovely. Thank you guys so much for supporting the stream. If you are liking what you're seeing, continue to support the stream. Consider doing what you can there. If you can't do that there, spread the good word. Tell people about holding action and the fun we have here on Fridays. We are going to be back Sunday at noon with my main man Jones will be home
That's right.
Sunday.
doing the first Dark Souls 2.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah,
I'm not
'cause
mistaken.
Birthday stream defeated the Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
go find Kobe birthday stream highlight.
Oh my God,
Everybody
it's
put that
so
inside
great.
you. All right. We are
So
going to
much
go
fun.
ahead and get up on out of here. Follow us on Twitter. Go check out our YouTube page. Make sure you are subscribed there. And, you know, sing the good songs of the people of Holding Action. And make sure you join us here next week. Hopefully we'll see you Sunday at noon. I'll be in chat there. And for any folks who are interested, I'm probably going to be doing another one of my Chop Up Hangout sessions tomorrow night on my personal D&D stream.
Nice.
So do stop in and just chat with me if you want to do that. We're going to be literally just talking about D&D stuff and doing D&D junk. So be there for that. I love you guys. You're fantastic. Thank you. And until we see you next time, party on.
What are we doing? Bye. Oh.
Do
Bye.